Oh, hello everybody. I was meant to change that whole intro. Whoops, I haven't got this one ready. Well, this is slightly rushed, but we're most of the way there. I hope you're all doing well. It's good to see everybody as always. So, today, episode 18. Last week I got it wrong, which was kind of my fault. I say kind of my fault. It was all my fault, so I do apologize on that. But yes, episode 18. A lot has happened this week. The webcam has changed slightly, so I do apologise for those who are not used to that. But yeah, no. So I haven't really thought about how we're going to do this. I've got a few topics I wanted to talk about. I know Agent Oink, Delicious, and Asti Verd, who are wonderfully joining us today, will be. We'll have a few topics to talk about. Some of them are controversial. Controversial? Yes, that's the word. And others are just a bit of fun. I haven't actually got a plan. Like I mentioned, we're just going to go off on tangents, see where it goes. That seems to be how the podcast it goes well best these days. As you saw spoiled there, these podcasts are recorded and will be live on both YouTube, Spotify, and a host of other websites that you can check out. So if those aren't your sort of daily podcast listeners, you've got all these here as well. So yeah, talking about our hosts, we are joined by the wonderful our Agent Oink / Alfie, Preston on a bicycle, Jowan aka Asti Verd, and Phelan aka Delicious. They'll be joining us, helping me out overall for today. So yeah, shall we go and talk to them? I think we shall.
Charles.
What?
Charles.
What?
Oh my god, Charles.
What?
It's a little bit choppy. We've got some choppy frames happening, bro.
Oh god. Oh no. You know
it's fine now.
It's fine
How
now we
many
got to this screen, but the previous few screens were not
Oh,
amazing.
oof. That is a big oof right there. I do apologise. You know what? Yeah, we'll keep going. I do apologise for everybody, but how are we all doing today?
Yeah,
I'm doing alright.
doing pretty good.
Good,
I'm doing alright.
good. Yeah, that was I was literally the whole journey walking home. I was thinking how I'm gonna do the intro, what I was gonna say, make sure it's said perfectly. Got home, sat down for 10 minutes, and didn't do anything. So I was like, I'll just fucking do this one, whim it, just fucking whim it. But yeah, no, it's good to have you here, Jowan. You know,
Thank you. I love you.
we've missed you, but yeah, I highly recommend checking all of these guys' socials down in the description.
I don't.
I wouldn't.
Doesn't seem like a good idea.
If you want
We're
to,
confident, aren't we?
if you want a great backlog of videos, go and check out Delicious. And if you want some nice inspirational quotes, Asti Verd is your man. And if you want an artist in their own right, Agent Oink is there. I would say no, genuinely.
Assigned labels to us.
Yeah.
I think mine was at least accurate in the fact that I've uploaded videos.
You at least have videos, yeah. I don't know what my art is.
I'm very inspirational.
Yeah, your quotes, your tweets are amazing. Honestly.
Cool.
So yeah, how are we all doing? How's everybody's days going?
Wow. Yeah, going.
It truly is going.
I suppose I should say this towards the start. I may have made a mistake.
Oh no,
Oh,
what?
no.
A couple of family members may or may not know about the podcast,
Oh,
and
for God's
I
sake.
don't know if they were actually joking about watching, and I'm
Oh.
really scared now.
That's fine. You know, it's just fun. I've had family
Define
members watch.
fine.
Well,
It's really not fine.
it is.
Because if I
I'm
was to make a
so sorry.
scale of 1 being not fine and 10 being fine, this would easily be a 0.
Well,
Yeah.
it's gonna be fun. You know, the topics we're talking about
Strong
today.
language warning. I'm going to put that out here.
Look, the topics
Ooh,
we're
about
talking
bloody
about.
personality warning.
Yeah, that too.
The topics we're talking about are beautiful. Okay.
Oh, great.
So this week, so if we go to gaming news, not much has come out, but we have Cyberpunk next week. No, which is
Gosh,
Well,
yeah,
next
that keeps
week.
sneaking up.
yeah, next
Yeah.
next week
Literally
today.
a week today.
Yeah. As well as everybody's favorite Call of Duty Season 1 that comes out on the same day. But
God of War Season 1?
yeah.
What?
Like, But yeah, no. So yeah, Cyberpunk, the very hyped game by several people, is coming out.
Several people. You make it sound like a small group of them, like 10 people on Twitter. Were like, yeah, that looks
So-
pretty cool.
The reason I say that is because it was very hyped earlier this year, but it seems like less and less people are interested in it. I don't know if I'm right on saying that, but it just feels that way.
It was a
It's
big
because it's been
phenomenon,
pushed back.
right? It's obviously not gonna get as much traction now as it sort of had at one point because it
Can't
kind of
wait
was
for
a
it to be
meme.
hated because.
And I
it's
think a lot of people are actually gonna not like the game, because I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize that like it's still gonna be an open world RPG. You're not into open world RPGs, which a surprising amount of people aren't. Probably not gonna enjoy it that much.
More for them.
But yeah, no, it's definitely more made by a few people. I think CDPR has like 1,500 employees or something these days.
Yeah,
I'm sure like about 500 of them will be laid off when the game comes out, and at least they can continue on their transphobia with less of them.
I saw a clip the other day saying that Shroud said that it's only going to last a month. Which
To be fair, not to criticize Shroud, if I was to put Shroud's merits on a table, commentary on RPG games is not one of them.
I would also say not many games last beyond. Like, obviously, games are still played after a month, but not many games are still majorly talked about after a month.
excuse
Like,
me,
even-
No Man's Sky?
No, even the issues that No Man's Sky
No Man's
had,
Sky wasn't
people
played after a
stopped
day.
talking about it after, what, 2 weeks?
week?
2, maybe 3, yeah. I don't
Come
get me
on.
wrong, the game's great now. But
It's alright.
it's a cycle. Okay, it's good if you like that type of game. But we're getting into a bit of a cycle of people seemingly overhyping games for either reasons where they've been
Yeah.
lied to, or them perhaps misunderstanding information.
So, Delicious having a mistake. I've also made a mistake. And you're all going to see it in just a moment.
Oh no.
It's gonna be good. How many frames are we gonna see it in? That's the real question.
True.
Ah, there we go.
Oh. Yeah.
I completely forgot to do the announcement. So I do apologise for everybody who is missing out on this.
We really need to get the bot to do that.
Yeah.
It's,
I've just been very busy recently, so I do apologise. In general, like work and feeling ill and
Christmas time
spending the time with girlfriend.
always happens.
And true, yeah, Christmas, buying presents for everybody, etc.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's gonna be fun. We all need to buy each other presents. Don't forget about that.
Absolutely,
Do we?
we do.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, you're getting it then. I can't afford my family presents, bro. I can't get anyone presents.
I'll buy me love.
Sorry, I'm bringing this off topic again. You know the subject I brought off last week of your circle appearing when you spoke under my thing?
Oh, piss
The
off.
top pixel, there's like a line of a pixel or two that I've just noticed is still there.
Where? On whose?
Under mine, I'm sure.
Can I? No, there's none under
I
yours.
don't see anything.
I see something.
You're
It's
seeing
appearing
shit,
and
mate.
disappearing.
You're seeing
Is he
shit,
seeing
fam.
shit though?
Yeah, I can't
I
see
don't
it,
see it.
and I've got the highest quality version of it.
Hang on. Oh, whatever. Might just be. Let's put up to Twitch artifacting and
Yeah.
absolve you of any blame.
Appreciate it. I do honestly appreciate that.
Although saying that, there is like a fucking circle over your microphone and yours, which I quite like.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it was a space.
No,
full stop
no,
in
no, no,
text
no,
or
no.
something.
I know what that is, and I'm going to fix it because that's going to annoy me. Right, let's actually get the podcast started.
Let's delay.
Since I'm always, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to ask, since I'm a bit busy right now, I'm going to ask one of you, what topic would you like to start with?
Halo and Fortnite.
Did we not start with the topic? Is that not what Cyberpunk was?
Oh, okay, yeah, we could keep
That was
talking
just
about
a casual
Cyberpunk.
mention.
We could keep talking about Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
could
I
do.
don't know if any of you guys, without throwing, just any assumptions out there, but I'm going to assume, I imagine Jowan is going to be the most excited for this out of all of us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like CD Projekt Red's games, and I really like open worlds.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Like-
like open world games as well, but I don't know, I still need to play The Witcher, but I'm waiting for that next gen release, for them to update it on Steam.
Are they ever going to do that?
Apparently.
Yeah, it's coming
Oh,
soon.
okay. I didn't realize they actually were. That's pretty cool.
Mm.
The thing is, I want to play it, but I'm not paying money for it.
Yeah,
Put-
that's reasonable.
That's the thing.
Put a stream go up.
Because oh no, it's not that I want to give them money, just because they're such a shit company. That's literally the only reason. Like it looks like a fun game, and it's honestly it's something I know my girlfriend Cassie's gonna love because she loved The Witcher, so she likes her open world RPGs. She loves games where you get to create a character and explore that character and do what you want with it. But I just don't like the company. That's literally all I'm going at.
I don't like the company either. If I am to play the game, it's more likely to be a pirated copy of it than it is fucking.
And when he
but I
says
also just definitely
pirated,
not
he
likely to play
means
the game.
legally pirated.
That's not illegal. I just don't really think I'll play the game anyway, though. Like
That's
the
fine.
problem I have with Cyberpunk is basically what they've done is said, "Hey, we're making a game," shown absolutely zero features of that game, and then expected us to just buy it. And I'm like, well, if you show me the game and it looks interesting, I might play it. But until you show me the game, I don't give a shit how many fucking mocaps of Keanu Reeves you do. He's a nice guy, but he's not gonna make me pay you money.
I hope he's in it for 5 minutes.
That's some
Again, I know I
gameplay.
made that
He's
joke.
got to be a major character. There is some
He is.
gameplay. It's just not a lot of interesting gameplay.
Mm.
I'm
Sure.
not particularly interested in that 1 5-minute video they did of driving down the road. Like, cool, I can do that in fucking Euro Truck.
Yeah, but is
True
it in next gen graphics?
Well, funny you should
speaking
say
of,
that.
good
Yeah.
transition there.
There we
Nicely
go.
done.
Let's end it here. We're not going to top that.
We got the LGT Segway game going.
God.
Oh, I wanted to
Yeah,
talk about that.
The confirmed to be working on a, what did they call it? A visual improvement, I believe. Something under that sort of
Definitely
genre.
interesting.
Definitely.
Mainly with the lighting, and I think it said with HDR, if I remember correctly,
Okay.
which is gonna be awesome. To be honest, like I think I said this to you guys in my Discord. It's not a bad looking game, but I think it's the worst thing. It's like the thing holding back the game.
At the moment,
it definitely
yeah.
has a simulator aesthetic to it, shall I call it?
Mm.
It
It's
doesn't
not
look
like-
particularly fancy in detail and graphics. Not that it necessarily needs to.
No, it's no
it's just-
DCS world. It's
it's
not
not-
bad,
I
but
don't-
it's not DCS.
Genuine
Yeah.
question: Is there a sim out there that has ultra realism? Like DCS World
DCS.
gets close to that, but that its world is
Or are
not
we-
that
are we
realistic.
including like this just in graphics,
Did
or
you
like
say its
including
world
in
is
the
not
simulation
that
as well?
realistic?
Like terrain.
Terrain wise.
What?
That's
I'm
even
pretty
weirder.
sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of the
I'm
maps
pretty
are
sure-
based on real locations.
Oh.
Not gonna lie, Euro Truck's terrain was never particularly alien to me.
Now that I said that as
I
well,
remember driving through Frankfurt and like, wow, I've never seen a hill like that in my life. Shame these simulator games just aren't up to par.
now that I say that,
Cities are tiny as well. It's really weird.
I completely forgot about the new flight sim. That's a stunning looking sim.
Oh, that too.
So
Yeah, but that one doesn't run. So
that's true. No,
Yeah, I still
Desync
don't know if
knows
they
how to
fixed
do
the
some
bug where
cheats.
It runs better if you literally tab out of the game.
Or what is it? Take what is it? VFR off? Like
Yeah, if you put your VFR map on a separate window, you gain like 20 FPS.
yeah, like that
Nah,
genuinely
what a-
is one of the stupidest sort of
Ignoring the fact that
bugs.
when you organise all of those separate windows in a perfectly configured location, like I did once, and set up Stream Deck buttons to switch between them, they don't stay there when you relaunch the application.
Oh,
and
that
change
is the
plans.
worst.
They just close and fuck off. And I
Honestly.
just lost it at that point. I was so angry. I had like a whole button on my Stream Deck to change from the fucking map and ATC, and it was so perfect, and it was just all fucked. Stupid game.
Honestly, and if it wasn't so darn expensive,
what's your views on simulators, John? I don't know if I've played one with you.
I think we should correct that. Has Joan ever
You
played a
Terraria.
simulator?
Everyone here isn't a terrain simulator. Charles would like that one.
I don't think
You've
you've really
played
played many.
F1 with us. Not that the way that we
That's
played
not
it was
really a
very
simulator.
simulator.
I wouldn't call it a
Simulators
simulator
too, I
in the
have.
first place.
Mm,
It's more like a simulator game, I guess.
So
Okay.
I searched my Steam library with a simulation tag just to see
Oh,
what
God.
games I have,
Oh,
so I could talk about it.
knowing his Steam library, this isn't going to be good.
One of the options is Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Oh, well, there you go. You've played a simulator then.
What? Right. Yeah.
And the
Okay.
ballistics in that game. Mwah.
That's
That was an Italian's kiss for all you audio listeners, which is pretty much everyone, because I don't
Ah,
have a
I
webcam.
played Stardew Valley. I really like that.
Oh, if for
I mean,
I'd say
so
that's a simulator game.
We've not
sh-
had a
I mean,
DCS in ages.
sort of.
wait, what do you say a simulator? What do you say a simulator game is?
Stardew Valley.
Okay.
I don't know. I just haven't really
I
played
don't
any
think
simulation
anyone
games.
can do that. Damn,
Simulate-
we need
I
to
don't know, I
get
just
down
haven't really played
into
these.
some simulators for the next podcast.
You know what? Let's do the same thing because I'm curious what comes up in my library now.
DCS is absolutely going to be top
Uh,
play hour wise
To do
Me?
that, I'm gonna have to now just search my Steam library by tag.
for me.
I'll filter.
So
Another
seven
simulation.
Days to Die is a simulator.
Oh.
8-Bit
Counter-Strike
Army.
Condition Zero and Counter-Strike Source. Those were great simulators.
Oh, I can't say this one.
Cook Serve Delicious. That's a
Golf for your
simulator.
friends. That's a great simulator.
Oh my god, was that?
Dota
Five
2.
Nights at Freddy's 3 comes up.
No. Don't.
Not the other Five Nights though.
Five Nights at Freddy's sister location also comes up under the simulation.
And Five Nights at Freddy's 4. for me.
Dota
Oh, okay, I
2
only have
comes up
3
as a sim for
sisters.
me.
Oh man, this was a bad idea.
What else is
Tory
there?
Bash is a sim apparently.
Okay.
It
Interesting.
would be that bad.
Friday the
Can't say the name
13th
of the
Killer
game comes
Puzzle
up.
is a simulator.
Payday 2. Gosh.
Gary's Mod is a sim. I can kind of see that.
I think what we've learned here, you shouldn't trust
Steam
Steam
tags and
Decks.
shit.
Ignore any dog. That is not a dog you
That's
hear.
you- that's you
your
coughing.
Cat.
We could have a cat.
Mountain is a simulator for those who have never
look
played that
behind you,
game.
Cat's in your room.
Sons of Icarus is the simulator if you weren't aware. I love that game. It really accurately represented how I fly airships and shoot other airships in real
Vertiginous
life.
Golf.
Viscera is a simulator.
Basically, Steam's a mess.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what this
that's what I've
conclusion is.
I forgot I had
This is
that.
the police, Tower Unite, Trackmate, yeah.
I forgot I had Tower Unite. Is they actually done anything to that game?
I mean, put it like this: I've sorted by racing, and Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball has come out.
Oh, I love
I
that
mean,
game.
Yeah, we need to play that again. For
no,
sure.
we don't. It's
do.
the worst game I've probably ever played with you guys. But
How?
also, it's not a racing game.
Well, tomato, tomato, according to Steam.
Have you
That
seen that
is-
fucking great Twitter thread? It's VeggieTales characters if they were vegetables.
Do the racing game.
Oh, that is
There is
actually.
actual racing in there at least.
Oh.
Ah!
So I think it's safe to say we have all played some simulators by Steam standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone's replaced some simulator by simulator standards.
Wow. Okay. So Twitch. Yeah. Steam is just broken at this moment of time.
Hmm.
So. Yeah. Perfect. People are just trying to get that money by labeling their game as every possible.
Well, no, on Steam, basically communities can tag a product. So if
Like-
enough people say that Far Cry 3 is atmospheric, it will get the atmospheric
But-
tag.
Those tags are handled differently to the developer specific ones, and I'm
Yes.
wondering, does the Steam library sort by the community ones or the official ones? I'm assuming the
Who
community
knows?
ones, because I can't imagine Cook Serve
Yes.
Delicious put themselves as a sim. Let me see. They released a third one? Okay.
Yeah.
There's a third Cook Serve Delicious.
And for those, by the way, who don't know, that's where Delicious got his name from.
Stop it. Don't give them false information.
Just
Also, my Steam's just
if
broken,
you-
so that's good.
if you want to
we go,
confirm
let's
that it's community that does it, just search up nudity in your tags and
Popular
then see what
use-
shows up.
Yeah, nudity is added to a load of games for no reason. Because
Oh.
it's funny.
Oh, is it
Dude,
because it
it's
gets the
kinda
game
funny. It's
banned?
annoying. No, no. Can't even
No,
see
all of
where
mine
the
make
non-community
sense.
tags
All
are.
of mine make sense. I'm not going to name half of them, but they make
Oh,
sense.
What,
God.
for nudity?
Yeah. The only one
I
that
guess
kind of
I've got to look for nudity now, don't I? Gosh, thanks, guys.
Mine is Russian Fishing 4. and simulator in it.
I mean, how do I answer this?
I think
Mine
Hand
had-
Simulator might do.
I think so. There's a couple in here that do make sense because games are being gifted and such as jokes and all that. And a couple
Aw.
that do actually contain straight nudity. But then there's just
Mine
Desert
do.
Bus VR.
Oh,
It's like not
Mine
quite
all
sure
do
there's
make
nudity in
sense,
Desert Bus VR.
unfortunately.
Not that I remember.
not that I've played most of these games with nudity. If there are any family watching, I want to point out Let me check. Oh no, some of them do have played
He
that.
has.
But I've
He's
not
played
seen any
all of
nudity.
them.
I've bought most of the games in my nudity tag, and I've played them extensively.
That is extremely rude. How dare you?
Oh my. Wait,
Is this my end or your end? Okay. Oh.
What?
I just need to check one thing. A game that I didn't see come up when I
Okay.
put in nudity.
Everything all right?
Grand
Yeah,
Theft
mine
Auto
just dropped for, like, a
5
split second.
doesn't have the nudity tag, apparently.
Well, it doesn't contain nudity. What are you on about? There's no nudity in that game.
In what game? I didn't hear.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
I said it when I got my parents to buy it for my Xbox 360.
There's none in that game. And if you go into any of my favorite clubs, it definitely tells you when you go online that you're in those said clubs. They're my favorite.
Could share it to Facebook.
No, we can do that when you knife someone in Battlefield 3. Apparently.
I'd love that.
Oh, and talking about fucking old games, we've been playing a shit ton of one and bought DLC for it because why not?
How did you go from Battlefield 3 to old games, presumably back to Battlefield 3? Either that, or you're about to drop a massive bombshell on me.
No, I'm talking about old games, which is
Yeah, what old game? Where we bought
Battlefield
DLC?
3.
Oh, I love you so much.
Oh god.
That was the
Whenever
best
the,
transition.
The streaming awards or whatever, like the YouTube awards shows come up. Whenever we get big enough to be eligible for that, I'm
Least
absolutely
consistent
nominating you for
streamer.
fucking like worst stream podcast host.
Thank you.
Talking about awards
It's a compliment.
and tying it to a thing we've said before, somehow Cyberpunk won an award for best role-playing game and best PC game.
And it's not even
Yeah.
out yet.
Well, I
Yeah,
think the early access copies have dropped now.
Yeah, people have got them.
I believe
Hope
they're not allowed to
so.
post content about them.
Mm.
Which CDPR said in a really cutesy little tweet where they were like, "Hey guys, so for those of you who got early access, don't post content about you. We will copyright strike you and hunt you down for your fucking blood. But otherwise, once the date's passed, have fun."
Yeah, sounds about right, to be honest, though.
Yeah, that's most, isn't it?
It was very aggressively worded. It was very funny.
I wouldn't say that's aggressively worded.
Ooh, that doesn't look
It's just worded.
normal.
So, yeah,
What
no.
part of your body would you replace or enhance with a cyberpunk style implant? Is a tweet I've just seen. What do you think all the replies are?
Yeah. Their hair.
So I just saw a tweet saying,
hand,
was it CD Projekt are going
arm.
to have a digital launch party for Cyberpunk on the
Yep.
9th,
Mm.
complete with a Q&A. So
Yep.
that's fun.
Damn.
Glad
Is
that
it
I'll finally
Q&A
get
or
some
an
questions
AMA?
answered about the game, like after it's come out.
That's true. That's literally all my Twitter feed is. It's just Cyberpunk, 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 Blue Yay, Cyberpunk. Wow.
How
What?
did I only just hear about that? There's a news article I just seen from Twitter trending because I looked at it for the first time. That's quite depressing, so I won't read it out on stream.
Oh, now I'm
And we'll
down.
send it in the channel.
Why, thank you.
The fa-
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I saw this earlier.
I imagine most people would have, but I only just woke up.
Okay, no, when I saw it, it said there was injured. I didn't see anything about
Ah,
that.
I've not clicked on it, but I think I know what it is from you saying that, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, their fault.
why would you say that?
Context is important.
Talking about cycling back to things, I've been watching it,
Tesla's
and I'm
releasing
pretty
new
sure that
bicycles.
circle does come up under my. I'm sure I'm seeing the top line of pixels
Oh
from it.
god.
No, there is nothing coming from.
Okay.
I'm looking.
Okay.
It's there's definitely something there that appears
okay.
when you start talking.
No, there isn't. There's
I'm
shit
looking
all.
at it
There's shit all.
Is it under your circle?
under my circle.
I
Yeah.
see nothing.
I can't
I
see
don't
There's a
know.
line
anything.
of pixels.
Right,
that comes up.
screenshot it.
I'm
Proof it.
trying, and I've got a screenshot of a line of pixels.
When who talks, Charles?
I think so.
Consistently every time?
Yes.
What?
Left or right of your webcam or the whole thing?
It's under his little, under his little
Under
Discord.
his circle.
Yeah,
So at the right.
I think his monitor's dead.
My
mean,
monitor's fine. It's either that or it's some very conveniently timed Twitch artifacting. Hang on.
I'm
There.
looking at pixel
Check
for
in chat.
pixel.
You can see that grey line. Hang on, let me try and get
That's shit.
Wait, that grey line. Hang on. Hang on. Be silent, Charles. Okay, right now speak, Charles.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get a screenshot if I can.
Okay, this is genuinely.
Compared-
Actually, maybe.
Yeah, sorry, hang on, just quickly. Compared to when Charlie wasn't talking, ignore the fact it's a different size one. It's gone. It's a very conveniently
Right,
timed
are
artifact.
you watching
is
me
all
on a
I'm saying.
1440p monitor?
I'm watching it on a 4K, but that doesn't matter because
Okay.
the stream's at 1080.
I can't see shit all.
Well, it's because your monitor's bad. What can I say?
I moved it to my other monitor and I still can't see it.
I don't know. Maybe I've just got
This-
super eyes. There's no way that this is just conveniently timed.
No, it is.
Can you put like me next to no, because that'll mess up the whole thing.
What are you
Oh, no.
doing?
I need to set up my webcam and my phone to record at the exact same time, and then we'll see.
No.
Then you all see.
Oh my god, what is going on here?
I mean,
Go
this
on.
is the worst one yet. Let's be honest. Call it where it is. That's bloody devolved into nothing.
Yeah. Like,
Exactly. But that means we can draw it out. Stop trying to delay the draw out.
yes, so something I was meant to say to Joan before I started,
Aw.
and I'm just going to say this now for
Now you've
context
done
to everybody.
Mhm.
I always aim to do these podcasts for 2 hours. However, obviously, if it gets really dry or there's literally nothing to talk about, I will end it earlier. Most of the time, it tends to stick to 2 hours anyway.
Okay, I'm just going to interrupt you from blowing my nose. Tell me, if you're about to say that we're ending, I'm going to cut your throat.
No, not right now. Give it
I would
5.
also like to say what he just said is an absolute lie.
No, it's
And
not.
it depends on the time that me and Alfie conveniently DM each other saying, gosh, Charlie's not said anything about ending. And then within
Yup.
2 minutes, consistently, he managed to go, I think we should wrap it up now.
Me and Venom will literally be midway through a discussion. We'll throw to Charles for his commentary, and he says, "Yeah, that's interesting." Anyway, and it just goes to the end. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
bullied.
happened.
I'm
And it'll
bullied.
happen
Love you.
again.
Honestly, I'm just being bullied as always. It's not
We've
fun.
got more viewers than RT Game right now,
Who?
according to my Twitch. I mean, it's because it's a 0 because he just went live,
Oh,
and it hasn't updated on my list yet.
That's a win
Yeah.
for us.
yeah.
That's a
RT Game
word.
is shit.
Tweet out, we're more popular.
Fight me, fam. He's
I
like
paid to
4
watch
foot
that.
2, isn't he?
No, that's Jowan.
I don't think so. And why would you bring that up?
Not easily beat him in a fight.
RT Game height. Let's have a look.
Look up tactical TV height and see what comes.
Okay.
Thanks for your tweet, Jan.
Daniel of Rumble Tumble Games is an Irish Canadian YouTuber.
Oh, he's
Um,
Irish Canadian?
Top of the
apparently.
morning, eh? Don't ask what the accent
Um,
was.
No,
Is
we're
there any
gonna
height
ask.
on this page. No. Okay,
Oh.
I take it back. I thought that was
YouTube
going to be.
Oh,
please let us
actually,
down.
I've got something I want to talk about because this really riled up Phelan the other day. I'm
Oh,
not
did
going to
it?
name them, but certain
Oh, it's 4.8
someone.
inches tall.
Oh, 4.82 inches. A certain someone
Okay.
was questioning the reason, was questioning the fact that I was affiliated on my main channel,
Oh,
I
Um,
don't know
and-
who this is.
and was saying that I
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
There were definitely implications of that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And this
If this
really,
is who I think it is, I still question why you speak to him.
and
I question why we're mentioning it right now. It seems like a big departure from basically defending them for months on end. But hey, if we're laying into them,
I just wanted for you to talk about it on the podcast because I found it interesting,
podcast.
but also in general, the whole implication of, do you think there should be limits to streamers, like if
I
they're
mean,
not hitting certain
if you get
goals
0
or
views for months or you stop streaming for literally years, then yeah.
I
But
can
otherwise,
understand
like
that.
I said at the time, people with little dips in viewership, it only makes sense to be on the more optimistic side of things, especially for Twitch.
okay.
but
I mean, put it like this, right? Let's look at your channel as an example.
Who's?
Right.
Mine or
Yours.
his?
Aaron's?
The
Okay.
Tactical TV channel.
Oh.
Twitch.tv
Yeah.
/Tactical TV. Go subscribe.
hello, Steve.
We've got our stream baby
it's
to name, by
like
the way.
one. Do you deserve to be affiliated? In my opinion, yes. Right?
Mhm.
Why? Not subscriptions.
Because you're a good friend.
Not because Twitch deserves to earn money off you or any of that. Because of the extra channel features you get of channel points and the extra management and clip storage and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because you've been streaming for a very, very long time, and it's about time you got something back from some company, right?
True.
Second to that, let's say that you're not meeting the affiliate requirements anymore on viewership, which I don't think is true. I think you are meeting the affiliate requirements on viewership more than fine.
Mm-hmm.
But why would Twitch stop that? Because there's still active subscriptions on your channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
They're
got more
still
than I ever
making money from
expected.
you. So it's like completely out of their interest to just stop that income. It makes 0 sense to do so.
Yeah, that's what I
So
said.
the key to affiliation really is just to get affiliated, get like your own, buy yourself 10 subscriptions, and then just never be unaffiliated. Don't stream again. You can keep affiliation
Not
when you
that we
decide to stream
think
10
that
years down the
anyone
line.
should buy themselves
You should-
subs or even view bot. Gosh, I wonder who would ever do that. But, you know.
Vbots.
I need context to this. Obviously, you don't want to say on
Really?
stream, but
I'm trying to be like, it's not exactly subtle, but
Ah, yes.
I'm.
It clicked.
am I?
You
It
didn't
clicked.
know.
Am I being stupid?
Jawan's the one who told us about this.
I
No,
genuinely can't remember.
Charlie's one. Sorry, I don't know who I just said. I zoned out for a second while saying that. Yeah, Charlie, you're the one who told us about this.
Am I? If it's
I can't tell if he's trying to defend
no,
himself.
no. I genuinely can't remember.
Oh man,
If
that's
it's,
good.
I
This
can't
takes the
remember.
sting out of my blow a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm just because I know
Remember
I got.
how you
fucking-
started this conversation?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, because I know the same thing that happened on my channel happened to his, but I don't know if it was from their own fault or not.
Oh.
So
yeah.
I genuinely
What
don't
was
know.
that?
Well, was it viewers though, or was it followers?
That was not subtle, if that's what I think it was.
Followers.
Okay, yeah, followers is a lot more questionable because people just do get followers
Yeah.
on Twitch all the time.
I had it happen horrifically on my channel, and it just like,
Yeah.
why the fuck do people do that?
You
Slash-
grew by 400%
It was more
that day. You should
targeted
have been
at
proud.
people who do it on purpose. But yeah, let's
7K
cycle back around
followers.
to the
Like the fuck?
efficacy of this.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things that like.
I mean, all I'll say on the matter, I know where Twitch's terms and such stand on it. I know that Twitch doesn't care about people that don't follow. Like, they get followed by it if it wasn't them. I don't really care in general that much anyway, because, you know, they've got a good detection system for it. People get followed on Twitch all the time, especially smaller streamers, because they want to spam the chat with like a million messages, and you have to go into follow-only mode and then slow mode and blah, blah, blah. It gets really annoying. I'm all right, 9K. But, yeah, like... Does it really matter? Like, how important is follower count on Twitch? Let's be honest, it's not.
It's important
When
when,
you
you're
get
a
a-
dick about someone
no.
else being an affiliate on
Oh,
Twitch.
genuine
It was more
chat.
my point here. Again, this
Yeah.
wasn't about the efficacy of it in general. It was more about this person sucks, they have sucked, and they're going to continue to suck.
Yeah,
oh, they
they've-
don't listen
Like,
to
Tim
their
the Tatman
viewers
is
if we're
live
going to
right
go
now.
that way.
They-
He's
they-
playing Fortnite. He's got 30k viewers.
Oh,
He's got
well, now you've
5.8
named him.
million followers. Yeah, bloody
Everyone
Tim,
knows who we're
cunt.
talking about.
No, Tim's lovely.
Hmm.
But like, he's got 5.8 million followers. How much of those followers do I think are bots? Probably within the range of 500,000.
And how
Yeah.
many? Sorry, how many did you say you had? I was expecting.
5.8.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
no, like
Like-
so
I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just how Twitch is.
Genuinely.
It's full of shit.
genuine chat on Twitch.
Never happened to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/delicious, if it were to happen.
Genuinely, well, on Twitch, personally, I see it as if you get to 10k followers, then there's no need to look at that number ever again, because you're at a point where you're getting a sustainable viewership. Where the more important number at that point, it would be looking at subscriptions, because at that point you would be looking to make it full on time, I would say, or at least more full time, not
Yeah.
going away from
If
hobby.
you have enough followers that you have a consistent enough viewership to eventually get a consistent enough subscriber base, that should be your interest.
Yeah, and then when you get to a consistent enough subscriber base, that's the number you want to grow, not followers. Because personally, on Twitch, nobody really looks at a channel and goes, "Oh, he's got 5 million
Which the best
followers."
way to
You
grow
say that. That is how.
Mm,
Sorry, I was just going to say, sorry, that is by default how Twitch recommends streamers, is by
Oh, actually,
the views.
talking about that, I don't know if you guys have seen
Cool.
about the new.
Fuck you, Alfie.
No. Alfie, well, I think Alfie will have an interesting chat with this. Have you seen the new mode
Sure.
they're implementing called boost streaming?
Oh yes.
Yes. Okay. Shall we explain
Why are
it
they
to these
streaming
two?
chocolate bars?
Okay, so select small streamers, where Twitch yet again doesn't specify what that means or exactly how they're going to select them. Just it will be a select streamers that are small, quote unquote. Who knows
Yeah.
what the definition of small is?
Yeah.
Or
Will have a
formally.
feature enabled to them where everyone will get a notification where users can pool channel points, right? So not one person. I mean, if one person had enough channel points, I presume they could do it. But
Right.
the idea is that multiple people spend channel points together. To basically boost a stream, which will show it higher in the search results, maybe
Oh.
increase its likelihood of showing up in different categories as
Or-
the recommended stream, or on the front page,
Yeah.
etc.
Different categories. Ugh.
So this is something.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, this is something Mixer or Beam did, but Mixer kind of did in the days. And this was something I really liked Mixer, which Mixer did, and Twitch has kind of failed to do. So I kind of like where they're going with this, but Mixer did a thing back in the day where a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but they had bots what was it, website bots. So if you were playing Rainbow Six Siege, Fortnite, and there was another game, I use Fortnite for example. If you were in the top 10 on that game, you got a chance of the bot coming in you and hosting you and putting you on the front page, and you would get about 200, depending on the day, to 2,000 viewers coming to your channel. So that basically got a lot of people onto that front page and gave a lot of people the limelight. Happened to me a few times, which is a great feeling. But it's just a way of getting smaller channels out there, because it happened to a lot of people. You're in that top 10 for a few minutes at a time, so obviously that bot could go to a lot of channels, some more than others, obviously depends on how you played that game. But that was just, I liked it because it got channels, big or small, on the front page where people are always going to be sent to. So this idea of Twitch doing this, it's a bit late in my opinion, but it's still something nice, and it depends if they actually bring it out to full release. A lot of the time Twitch will be like, hey, here's this cool thing, and then never bring it out. For a good example of this is team streaming. Where the fuck's team streaming? Like,
It's available for partners.
Yes.
And partners can love it, and it works and has been functional for 2 years.
But-
fuck affiliates.
yeah, legit.
Right. All I have to say though, it is the difference. How did Mixer/Beam's system work? If you are the conversation of being in the top 10, for one, you've got to remember that this is a website with a significantly smaller viewer base and streamer base, right? It's way easier to get in the top 10. Number two, it had absolutely zero requirements of the community as such, right? If you're a streamer on Beam or Mixer or whichever version you were on at the time, you didn't have to get your community to waste their real life money, virtual currency, time. Like, there was no spend for them other than being on your stream, which if you're doing well as a streamer would happen naturally, right? And you would get featured. So it was basically a reward for something that didn't take anything from the viewership or the streamer, other than say like taking a reward from their success or whatever, right? The problem with Twitch is that it's a paid buy-in system. Okay? Let's say it applies to small streamers. Let's say the definition of small streamers is under 100 viewers. How many channel points do you think a community can pull if someone's been pulling 80 to 90 viewers every single day they've streamed for the past 2 months versus someone that's been pulling 6 or 8?
So yeah, it depends
It's
on how many
completely
it is.
unfair. So the only way I can see the system working is if the pool requirements to be boosted is relevant to the average viewership of the channel, or the average total channel points of the channel. Because if it isn't, it's just unfair. All it does is make streamers that are already doing well boost themselves further, and it helps streamers that are doing less well get even less noticed because they're just replaced with bigger streamers.
I just wanted to correct something. I don't know if it's the way I said it or just the way you worded yours, but when I said top 10, I meant top 10 in the game. So if you were okay,
top 10 in the category, I should have said.
So if you're playing Fortnite and you you were like what I mean is actually in the game. So if you were playing
actually in
Fortnite,
the
yeah,
game. Oh, I
per
see, that's
server.
Yeah.
What was it? Rainbow Six Siege did it if you were winning that round or something like that. It was something
I'm
stupid.
surprised that they would even like implement that on the game
Literally,
engine
are you
side.
winning, son? But
I think PUBG was the other one because it was the games where they could say, yeah, if you were winning, if you were in the top 10, then it would
do you know how
more
you
chance
win
of
at
getting.
PUBG?
Just don't.
Don't play it.
Yeah, not wrong.
Honestly, I love how like the same happened with DayZ. The developer made the game for a year and then just gone on and done his own stuff and made a shit ton of money from it. Okay,
More
Christian.
like scrapped it together out of little bits that he could find and was like, nah, this will do.
I mean,
God,
put it
fuck
like
game
this, right?
development.
There's exceptional
Yes, I
level
feel
of
strongly about game development.
bugs and issues and such in game releases, right? If
Mhm.
you're a small single or couple person or even like a small team of like 5 or 6 people on the scale of your game, but you can have, I mean, even a team of 1,000 people, there's going to be bugs in Cyberpunk. Of course there is. That's how it works.
Yeah.
There's things you just don't notice. And as long as you've ironed out the major ones, like if there's a bug in Cyberpunk on release where like the game, deletes half your files on C, that's going to be quite a big problem. You'd have hoped they've ironed that out already, right? So like, there's a level of acceptance you have to have of a game. There's going to be issues. Sometimes they're worse than, like, individual issues are really bad or whatever. But the main thing is that when a game releases a big update or a DLC or a patch, you expect there to be some issues, but ideally nothing major, right? Nothing that's going to cause like loss of your progression on the save or anything that's like genuinely really detrimental.
Right.
Speaking of, we don't talk about the new Dead by Daylight update that is horrific. But we'll just move past that. What were we talking about? There was a game specifically we were mentioning.
DayZ?
DayZ
PUBG?
and PUBG. That's it. I remember. PUBG is a prime example of a game that it just wasn't finished. It shouldn't have been anywhere near as popular as it was. Frankly, looking back, I have absolutely zero understanding of why it was as popular as it was. Still is as popular as it is. It's a horrific game, full of bugs, very shoddily made, very jankily put together. And all I have to say is, nothing against the individual people that make PUBG specifically. I mean, maybe I have something against some of them. I don't know. I've never met them. But everybody's human, whatever. But when you're releasing a product like PUBG, all I have to say is look at the amount of issues and shoddy work and shit. Compare it to something like Phasmophobia. I'm pretty sure Phasmophobia varies the trees outside fucking houses more than PUBG varies its own trees. And Phasmophobia is still a bunch of Uni assets. At least it varies
Didn't
them.
know Phasmophobia does that. It's cool, actually.
Like, you look at PUBG and you're just walking around. There's just random autumnal trees scattered in among random fir trees, scattered in among random fucking deciduous trees, and they're just all the same asset rotated. It looks like someone's fucking built a garden house flipper.
And then you fall through the map.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
terrible. It's just a terrible game.
Yeah.
And it's
If you want to play a good fucking battle royale, play Fortnite.
The Call of Duty.
I would agree with that, absolutely. I think Fortnite...
If they took building
I've
out of
not played it
Fortnite,
in
I would play
ages.
more. It's the building that gets me.
Yeah, that's absolutely the reason... Well, it's not the only reason I don't play it. I'm not too much of a fan of
I'm
Battle
not a
Royales.
PUBG fan, yeah, or a battle royale fan.
Apart
Even, yeah.
from,
I'm definitely not a
COD
PUBG
Mobile
fan.
Battle Royale. I'm clearly a...
So, I just wanted
Never
to say
wins.
something quickly.
Mm-hmm.
HBO and Warner Brothers have just brought out a list of all the movies coming out in 2021.
Ooh, okay.
Some of these I didn't expect or didn't know
Avatar
about.
2 coming out, or is that 2022?
So we got Suicide Squad, obviously. Godzilla vs Kong.
Oh, for God's sake.
Judas
Let
and
Godzilla die.
Judas and the Black Messiah. Ever heard of that?
Interesting.
King
Also,
Richard.
the interesting thing is that they're being released simultaneously on HBO Max streaming.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We've also got Matrix 4,
Well, we knew about that.
Tom and Jerry,
Sure.
Space Jam, Mortal
Wait.
Kombat,
Okay.
Dune,
Yeah.
and
Heard of
In
that.
the Heights. Some of those, like, I didn't know they were making a new Mortal
When
Kombat.
was the Five Nights at Freddy's movie coming out, though?
Never.
Like, have they confirmed the script
It's
for that yet?
been so long. No.
It's
Fuck
Jack
off.
Black singing the opening credits.
No. No, we're not allowing that to happen.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
all I have to say about that, quite
What about
frankly,
Avatar 2.
That's coming out next year.
is the only
Year after.
movie from that entire list that I even slightly care about is maybe Matrix 4.
I'm Suicide Squad, so I'm just interested to see how it is. A good director, hopefully good soundtrack. Looks like it's got a good bunch of characters as we've gone through in the podcast.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
No year of release from the FNAF film that I can see. It was confirmed to start spring in spring earlier this year, but whether that happened due to the unfortunate ongoing worldwide situation is. Let me see.
That's true.
Oh wait, no, sorry. It's going to start in spring next year. Is when they're going to start. Sorry, I can't read.
So
That
yeah,
explains it.
Batman's still being filmed. That's
Right.
interesting.
During a pandemic.
In one of the worst affected places in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought? The UK has finally hit its new tier system, which does nothing. Vaccines are coming next week. That's a good thing.
Supposedly.
So they want to aim for next
like
week.
Cyberpunk. I didn't know it was coming out so soon. Like, until you said the other day, Alfie, are you getting?
Well, yeah. Basically, there's been a few different vaccines that have been going around. There is. I'm not going to specifically call out the names of each vaccine because I don't remember which one is which, if that makes sense. Like which name applies to which vaccine, quote unquote. There's one that is having the most worldwide success. The problem with that vaccine, though, is that it requires awkward conditions to transport and store. So it needs to be kept in like freezing temperatures or something, or like not necessarily freezing, but it needs to be kept in like a refrigeration device, which obviously is expensive and time consuming and space consuming. So that was bought for a while by a lot of countries, but obviously it's awkward to transport around the world, and it was kind of like a downside, but obviously you still want to get the vaccine out. But then there's the other vaccine that doesn't require storage like that, and I believe, I may be wrong, don't quote me on this, but I think that's the one that we have now internally, and only us have internally approved, and we are going to be rolling out supposedly within the week.
They want to do it, yeah.
Wasn't it about 86% success? They said
it was around 90, yeah.
Around 90.
And
the term I saw was like with a 90% success rate or whatever, roughly. So.
And they say they want to give it to care home residents, frontline workers, and I can't remember the other one. They said they want to try and get it to first. Now, as the only official scientist and doctor, Astiford, what do you think?
Oh, you progressed fast. I didn't realise you had a doctorate.
Yeah, me neither.
When did you do your PhD?
That's
Oh, nice.
What he's doing right now. What do you think of all this?
me.
Yeah.
Obviously, your field specifically related to epidemiology.
I wasn't listening.
We're talking about the new vaccine.
New vaccines. Oh, I'm not taking it.
No.
And there you go, boys.
No. Because something that's been rushed in a year to make. I know that it's like a big situation, but something that's been rushed in a year that hasn't had like the proper time to have tested side effects. I just don't trust that. Like it's not me being anti-vax. I'm very pro-vax, but just the thought of it, just like being so rushed and having it like mass produced to everyone, I just like in like a few years, like some adverse side effect could come up, and then people are just fucked.
So I kind of like, I just don't trust the government because a lot of this stuff that they've done with this whole COVID thing is just being rushed. I know the vaccine is one of the biggest things we need to get done and dusted.
I mean, my main advice with the vaccine and the science side of it is that, sure, it definitely has been approved, and the whole process of developing has been faster than usual. But also note that we basically stopped development of almost every other vaccine that we were developing. We literally put, like, the whole world put their full resources towards this. So the reason Oxford has been able to come out with a vaccine, and X company in America, and X company in Germany have all got their own vaccines is literally purely because they all work together collaboratively and all rushed their own vaccines through with as much resources as they could. So I wouldn't be too worried about the safety side effects. They have had a lot of testing. So I wouldn't be that bothered about it. If you are concerned, maybe just wait for a few months first, because people are going to be taking it plenty, and then we'll know if there's side effects.
Not long term,
again, don't worry about the government being shoddy in terms of the vaccine, because the government's not really involved in the vaccine, but it's entirely private.
So all I want to say on that, again, I don't want to cause an argument, but your thing of saying wait a month, that doesn't at all deal with any of the long term
Welcome
issues.
to the Clip It podcast,
Well,
where we talk about
on-
gaming news.
Definitely, it's never been a gaming podcast.
It's meant to be.
No, it isn't.
Absolutely.
That was the cock podcast. We don't talk about that.
Oh, now fella's gonna get asked about that one.
Is my webcam fucking up?
Only on
Don't
stream.
think so.
Fucking hell.
Oh, is it?
I mean, only
Right.
in the same like slightly jittery occasional.
Oh, okay.
It's not as bad.
It's
as it
occasional
was.
jitters.
No,
Interesting.
it's just going red. Okay, carry on.
Anyway, yeah, right. Vaccine is probably a good thing to take. My main thing is that even if there are long-term side effects, right? Most long-term effects of vaccines tend to be pretty minimal, like unless you have a specific reaction to a chemical in it, which is normally an allergy base, which you would probably check, and they would already have noted down what allergies they shouldn't be giving the vaccine to and such forth. It's probably going to be fine. Like the worst thing that you get from most vaccines is what the vaccine is. So the worst thing you're going to get is a bad COVID infection. So, in the statistical chances, that's pretty bad, but it's obviously very unlikely that's actually going to happen because I'm sure the vaccine is pretty competently developed.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
When
So,
I've had like 30 vaccines or whatever, 20 to 30, I've had a lot of vaccines. Like literally everyone that's been like, available, even the ones that are optional and not normally like pushed on you.
I don't think I
not
should
once
say
had,
how
like,
many I've had.
any symptoms.
Yeah.
We don't. We're just not.
I don't think we should talk about that.
Damn.
You bloody anti-vax individual.
I've only had 3 from what I know of. And that was
Could
talking
drop
to my
dead any
sister.
day now.
So, yeah, that's...
We say that, yeah, he could, and it's part of the problem.
No, COVID's fine.
I wouldn't stretch that far.
No, definitely not. But, like, so... I'm trying... I'm going to search up what people they want to get them to first. But obviously, care homes is the first one. That one makes sense.
I believe
as
it's just like
this
care
is-
homes, the people that are in shielding / specifically vulnerable with whatever health conditions or being elderly, and obviously staff, so that they can deal with the front line a lot easier.
Yeah, it's like
Well,
having...
not necessarily easier, but with more reassurance that they're not going to catch it.
Yeah, and it's the problem is it's not like... So the biggest issue is if you're a frontline worker is it's not getting it and like getting severely ill from it. It's more getting it and then spreading it on to a shit ton of people.
Yeah, it's catching it and then spreading it before you realise you have it.
And that's why there's a lot
catching
of...
it and having to take time off work and self-isolate, and then who replaces you, you know.
Yeah, and that's where I think there's a lot of arrogance in the world, because a lot of people are like, oh, I could get it, but I'm not going to die. Yeah, that's not the problem. It's you getting it and spreading it to your entire family, and then their friends, and then their family, and it just
Only affects
multiplies.
family and friends.
Yeah,
Strangers are weirdly immune.
Yeah. Have you not seen? I saw loads of pictures on Facebook of apparently if you go to Weatherspoons, for example, you order a drink but then order a meal, COVID can't touch you.
It's actually true.
No, I'm not going to. I've seen people argue this sort of thing legitimately, like, oh, it doesn't affect people after 10 p.m. I'm not touching this.
Buy Scotch egg in a brewery, and then you're immune.
See, the Scotch egg thing, I'll happily talk about.
No, okay, so genuinely, the Scotch egg thing. Did he say that because he owns like a Scotch egg, like anything to do with
Say
that?
a Scotch egg farm, man. Because I really hope that's where that was going.
Come on, Phil. Let everyone know Scotch eggs grow on trees.
But like,
That'd be awesome. I'd have one of those in my garden.
that's one of those weird things. Like, why would you say that? Honestly, especially he's in part of the
Okay, right. Do you understand what the Conservative Party are?
stupid.
I hope Phil and his family are listening, because this is going to get intense, right? I don't remember who it was.
This
No, I
isn't
do
normally
remember.
a
It was
political
Mog,
podcast.
right? It's if I'm here, it's political. Jacob Rees-Mogg, right, said, I think it was a tweet. I don't know if he said it on any news media. If he did, it's going to be significantly worse, and I hope they bloody correct him for being a fucking lying twat. But basically, he said that the part of the only reason, well, he literally said like the UK wouldn't have been able to approve this vaccine as fast as we had if we hadn't done Brexit, if we hadn't left the EU. On top of that, we still haven't left the EU. We are still under EU law, and the entire reason we approved it is because the EU added a stipulation allowing emergency vaccine approvals.
Also, remember that app that was developed and then we backed out of it like the
Yes.
last minute as well?
Oh, honestly.
And the UK COVID app that didn't work.
Yeah, that's supposed to protect you, but as soon as like a local lockdown happens, they manually set everything to high, to high risk instead of just what it normally is.
Oh wow. Okay. I've still got the app, and it the funny thing with so obviously the NHS had to outsource when it came to phone centres because they just genuinely don't have the resources for it. So when I had to self-isolate, the app was telling me one thing, and then I'd get calls every few days, and they were telling me different things. Nobody got it right. Nobody had the same information, which was quite fun and
I would
entertaining.
just like to specifically say, on behalf of NHS Million, which is a great Twitter account and group of NHS staff you should follow if you're interested in the health of the NHS and internal politics of it and such forth, that it was not NHS Test and Trace. It's entirely private run, the whole system. So don't, at least within the, I should specify this is within England, Scotland and Wales are slightly different, Wales especially. But basically what I'm getting at is don't complain to the NHS that you were called by a random person that didn't have connection to the app and didn't really understand your situation, and the app and the person were telling you different things, and it's entirely responsibility of the Conservative government, and they're deciding to lay it off to a friend's company, basically.
So-
it's quite literally the wife of the anti-corruption chief, his
So-
company, or her company.
Genuinely, let's
Well, it's
stop
not her
talking
company, she
about
owns it.
what we're currently going through, and let's just close our eyes and imagine that
God.
the UK was run by Labour. Do we think it would have gone any better?
Well, yes, there's a good case study you can do for this. Wales. So Wales is mostly Labour government in its parliament, right?
Yeah.
It's not entirely, but there's also complications of how the Welsh government runs and blah 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 blah. But how the way Labour in Wales did it is basically they deployed the whole strategy to local authorities, right? So rather than having one company and work with a selection of private companies to work for a whole country, individual local authorities across the whole of Wales were given basically access to test and trace and told to manage it. And it was getting, I believe, at one point, I don't know where it is now, like today, but I know it was at multiple points 96% efficiency, and it was hitting 96% of all people that contracted COVID-19, and then I believe 80% of all the people they were in contact with when at that same time that was happening, that same week, the UK system was hitting 64% of transmissions, like 40% of people that they were in contact with, which should show you how shoddy and shit ours was.
Yeah.
And the entire reason is because the Welsh government gave extra money and resources to the local authorities that know their own communities and their own strategies and where people live and how people transport. And they can obviously contact and work in that in a way more efficient system than a random company in the middle of Norfolk. Or wherever Serco's based, I don't know. So basically, yeah, it definitely would have gone better. The demonstration of that is that Labour did it better.
Why did we have to have old people vote?
Because they're people.
Well, it depends on them.
True, half of them
Not
can't
entirely sure many
drive.
of them
Not
are
to get
people after
into
the
this, but
Conservative
by that
government they
logic,
voted in
young
are still
people
going
aren't.
along.
So it's middle-aged people who are people.
I mean, I definitely absolutely agree with an argument. I'm not going to necessarily specify the ages because I don't have the research for it, but I agree that if we're arguing that people under the age of 18 can't vote because they're not mature enough, they don't have the understanding enough, I don't see any reason why we can't say past a certain age, people's health and mental deteriorates to a point that it's a concern. Or
Yeah.
that you could say, because they're not going to necessarily, but statistically be alive during the time that the changes the government implements is even going to make an effect, why should they have a right to vote? There's arguments there. I'm not necessarily saying I have the solution to them, but there are definitely arguments.
And yeah,
I would quite happily give up my right to vote at like 80, personally.
I
I
think
think if my life expectancy in this country is 86, I see absolutely zero reason why I should be able to vote from 80 onwards. It just seems retarded. I shouldn't use that word, I'm very sorry.
wow, he means it when he says that. The thing is, I believe this strongly when it comes to driving. I think when you get to a certain age, let's say I say like maybe 70, you don't have to do another test, but you have to do like another lesson, because then they have the right to say, oh, I think you're safe enough to keep driving, or I recommend you go and do another test, or I think you need to do another test before you can
I feel like you could cut out the middleman in that plan and go for another test rather than.
Oh, that's just,
Another
to be honest,
lesson.
that's not my plan. I always said you should do another test, but my driving instructor thinks that, and to be completely honest, I think that's all right, because there are some people who are 70, 80 who can still drive perfectly well, because everybody's different.
Then there'll be no problem them doing another test.
But But yeah, no, I know
What's a
it.
lesson gonna tell?
Um,
Then
Well,
again, what's a
I-
test gonna tell? I still don't approve of a testing system. but
Yeah,
there
the
we go.
testing system, not that I've personally experienced it from what I know of, I would definitely say that it could probably be changed for like the
Well, it's been
second
updated.
and checked testing that you would do on someone that's already passed. So
Hmm.
like maybe not necessarily putting someone that's 70 or 80 or whatever through a full test again, but putting them through something that's maybe slightly less strict, allows for more like minors as an example, right? Because let's be honest, how many people would pass their test on an everyday driving around? Like it's a surprisingly low amount of people.
True.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it's a bit unreasonable to put everyone to that standard again because the standard in the first place is kind of stupid. Although I understand why it's there, it's just a pass system to get you the license, and then from there on do what the fuck
Oh,
you
let's
want.
not talk about other countries because we've got some of the like.
Well, yeah.
Our driving lessons, our driving tests are kind of like in the middle in the world. But we got America, which is stupidly simple, or I don't know, China might be stupidly simple. Can't remember which one's easier. And then you've got countries like, if I'm not wrong, Switzerland is extremely complicated. I think Germany might be up there. I can't remember. I was talking to someone about it, but there are some where they're no, Spain. Spain has a really hard driving test apparently, which you know, it's. I don't know. I don't mind ours. Ours is a bit like, especially so. They've obviously changed this now, but literally before September, they've changed the theory, the perception test. They've changed that now to be more realistic. But before that, basically the perception test is you have to click to place a marker on a video, to where there's a dangerous hazard in the way or whatnot, like a vehicle coming or a person walking into the road, etc. Apparently there was a cheat for that where if you clicked multiple times, it would pick that up and just count that as like a cheat or a failure or whatever. But apparently, if you click every 3 seconds, it doesn't pick it up as a cheat, and you'll most likely get all of the markers correct. So
from doing that, I'd be.
From
I
what I've
wouldn't
heard,
be
that
convinced
worked.
by that from remembering my test, which admittedly I found it was done very poorly, the perception one. If I did it every 3 seconds, like some of them required me to be marking the 3 points within less than 2 seconds, some of them. There was one where a car came up to a junction from the side, and like it only appears out of frame when you just basically have time to stop, perhaps a little bit sooner. I can't see that method working consistently without getting lucky on which videos they show you.
True, yeah.
Would be nice.
Yeah, I also don't really think
How would
there's
they update?
a large argument against the whole test in the first place anyway. Because how would I rather someone was driving, right? Let's say hypotheticals now. Someone's driving down a major A road. So an A road in the UK is like a major connecting road, normally dual carriageway, although not necessarily. Dual carriageway is 2 lanes. So again, another UK term. Let's say someone's driving down, right? And the hazard is that there's quite a lot of people. They're overtaking, so in the overtaking lane or the inside lane, which the inside depends and changes the definition of what country you're in, but I would call that the inside lane.
Okay.
And they have a good amount of space in front of them. To their left, there's a car because they're literally like at this second overtaking it. Behind that car is a car that's not within braking distance from the car in front of it, and a goat or sheep or some animal walks out in the road in front of them. Right? What would I want someone to click on in that perception test? I would rather they clicked on the cars.
Oh.
I don't give a shit about the sheep, frankly, because the main hazard there is what those cars do. Right? For human life, if we're speaking about minimizing damage to people, it sucks. I don't want that sheep to die if it has to, and likelihood you'd hope if people have good reaction times and are paying attention would be able to swerve out of the way, and maybe the sheep gets injured or something, but it survives. That would be the ideal situation. But more importantly, the main thing I'd be concerned about is the cars paying attention to each other, because that's way more important to me.
Actually,
I definitely think in some sense that's not necessarily stressed enough.
If you're on an A road, hitting a sheep at that speed will do a severe amount of damage to both you and the sheep.
Probably your car and the sheep more than.
Okay, yeah. Oh, it depends.
On the car,
yeah.
Sadly.
If you hit it with your car, you're dead. But
I mean, I'd be more concerned, for example, say the car in the normal lane, the outside lane that is that hits the sheep, right? The car behind it is going to slam into the back of it, probably not braking time, and could cause some serious damage to people.
Okay, so I see the biggest problem with your what you're doing there. If you're crashing into someone and then braking, you're kind of a bit late.
Well, yeah, but how many people is there braking distance?
Isn't the braking distance at 60 like?
It's 2 seconds, which is
ish.
annoyingly. Well, that's the.
Depending on your brakes, when you're allowed to get your brakes checked, how many people actually have updated and recently checked their tire treads. Yeah, you've got to consider these things, right? When was the last time you were on the road, right? Right, just think back, driving through. I know the road's obviously less busy right now and it's a bit complicated and weird, right? How many people were actually observing braking distance consistently? I would say it's under 50%.
Oh yeah, absolutely, a very very low amount,
Right.
especially
So-
in towns and things.
I'm not going to disagree with you. The problem in that scenario for the damage to those people is that car isn't observing braking distance, but it's not going to be. That's an unrealistic scenario to imagine. People just don't do it.
I think
I think it should be enforced more, but you know.
One of the things I think I would love to see stats on. Obviously, everybody's not going to be like truthful on this, but how long after completing their test do they just forget about everything? Like, because there's so
Well, you
many
don't need to
drivers out
know.
there who just don't do what, like. There's so many people that would fail their test the way they drive day to day compared to how they were taught.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd probably go as far as to say it's probably in the upper 80s.
Yeah, and
If you didn't tell someone they were on a test, you just observed every person in this country driving, I reckon, and then put them to the standards of a test, I'm pretty sure 80% would fail.
Even
Yeah.
I've obviously multiple YouTube videos isn't a reliable or large source, but
Oh my
every
God,
one
yeah.
that I've seen of someone doing a test, I think a couple of them were a month after, and then the rest were just like general adults. None of them passed by the test standards. I think it's mainly speeding which gets people, but there were other issues as well.
but yeah.
Mirrors and speed. Being
Okay,
the
so
main
that's-
ones, I think.
That's something that tests are very strict on. If you go, I want to say it's 10% above your speed limit, they will just
the
straight up
law
fail
is
you.
strict, so they kind of have to be.
Yeah, but nobody
Just
really
the law's a lot harder
cares.
to enforce than when there's not a policeman sat in the passenger seat.
That's true. Like I've got my driving
That
lesson
would
next
require
week,
some
which should
funding.
be fun. Since I haven't done it for about a month, but
I mean, for example, the thing with safety, right, is there are many things with driving safety and driving law specifically. I think people break on quite a regular basis when they know they can get away. For
oh,
example, I'm
definitely.
not going to name the people. I don't think any of you will be able to infer who this was from my description. 'Cause you don't really, you just wouldn't know. But I know of a person who went on holiday in the UK, right? And they went on holiday all the way to Scotland. And now, if you were to estimate how long it would take to drive back from Glasgow to where we are,
Oh, I see what this
right?
is.
you would imagine it would take quite a few hours, right?
More than
Well,
yeah,
they
it'll
didn't
take
want
like a
to-
day.
To stay over anywhere
Bloody
at night,
hell,
right? So they spent the entire day, or the entire week on holiday, right? And then the last day, after being up all day, they drove all the way back at night, speeding on every single motorway and road, on average doing about 80 to 100. All the way
Phelan,
back, and they got here in
why?
a pretty reasonable amount of time. I think it was like 6 hours or something, 6 and a bit
Bruv,
hours.
yeah, if my car can make it to Scotland, I would give it a go.
No. If your car can make it to 80,
You're
True.
not wrong.
True.
But that's an example thing. Like something like that, speeding at night, is something that you shouldn't risk. I don't suggest anyone ever risks. You could be caught by the police. Police do speed checks. But also, if you know what you're doing, there are websites that specifically track where police cameras are, where
Yep.
speed cameras are. It's very
built
easy to get away
into
with if you know what you're doing.
numerous,
Not to.
like apps now as well. Like, I think Google Maps added
Even
it.
Google Maps.
Snapchat's
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure has it.
Pretty sure. What's the other popular? Is it Maze or
Waze.
something like
Waze.
Waze?
That's
Sorry.
it. That's
Yeah, that
Spotify's. The one that's with Spotify.
That one marks them.
Um,
Not that I've seen Google Maps be particularly great at it in our area. I'm assuming that's because there aren't many people down
The
here.
thing I'm worried about when I get a car is the current car. So at this rate, by the way, apparently my driving instructor gets a new car sometime next year. So at this rate, I'm going to have a different car halfway through my lessons. But
That's slightly annoying.
yeah, it's going to be a hybrid. It's a Hyundai hybrid, which should be fun if I do get to drive it. I would love to.
See, I don't think my car. Most people's first car isn't going to be new, so
No.
it was already a massive jump from my
So-
guys to my crappy one. Now you're going to be in a hybrid,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
so many of.
But no, that's
it's not a world of difference, but it's quite a big difference.
That's the
Well,
problem
I
with
mean,
my current
if you're
car.
driving, or if you're learning to drive in a car that's very nice and fresh and new, and it doesn't have to be necessarily brand new, but it's been well kept, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Like it's definitely a transition from that to what most people's first car is. It's a transition going from different brands
Oh,
of new
so-
car. Like
Yeah.
they have indicators and such are all just slightly positioned differently. What knobs do what, and how you twist and how you enable your high beams.
These
Everything's
knobs
just
do a
different, right?
podcast.
And obviously, you roughly
That's
you're
good.
not wrong. you roughly know what you're doing, right? I would hope that you're not going to suddenly change between one car while the fucking wiper switches a twist versus moving the indicator lever, right? And have a panic attack and not be able to drive. I mean, I totally get the panic attack, frankly, actually, but not be able to drive. You'd hope that you could figure it out. But it definitely isn't easy. It doesn't make it easier, and you're definitely going to be worse at driving a car you're not used to.
But the biggest
That kind of
transition,
sucks.
there's two big transitions I'm going to have when I go from driving an instructor's car to actually buying a car. The first one being I'm currently learning in a diesel.
Is it going to be a van?
No, the car I'm currently learning
You're going
learning
from
in
diesel to a
petrol.
petrol-electric hybrid.
I don't know if it's a petrol electric. Well, probably is. I don't know if they are there the
I
diesel.
presume so. I mean, there are, but I would highly doubt.
That's
that.
But
A small
no,
car,
what I
I
mean-
think there's vans that do that.
What I mean is, from my learning car to my actual car when I pass my test will most likely be a petrol. So I will go from a diesel to most likely a petrol, which will be annoying. If I do get a chance to do this hybrid, that would probably help with the petrol side of it. Hopefully it is a petrol, but that's going to be one big transition, which, I do prefer diesels. They've got more torque, especially when using the clutch. Simpler, they've got a bit more forgiveness when it comes to clutch control, etc. So, maybe I should just buy a diesel. Fuel efficiency and fuel cost more, but
Can't wait until you can do your driving test in a
Tesla, yeah.
autopilot.
But secondly, the biggest other transition is currently in my car, it beeps at me every time I go over the speed limit.
Oh,
Hey.
God.
And so I feel like as soon as I get my actual car,
Charlie's going to rip that
I'm
out.
just going to keep forgetting that I'm going over the
Yeah,
speed because
I
I'm
can
so used to the
understand.
audible sound of,
That's the sort of thing that, it's a great feature. It's great that it gives you that feedback, but the problem is that that's training you to not pay attention to the speedometer as much, right? To not get used to what the X speed looks like from outside, which is a bad thing, especially if you're learning.
Yeah.
I would go as
Annoying.
far as to ask your instructor if that can be disabled, frankly.
I don't actually know, so
My
I should probably.
instructor searched. I can't remember. He had some notifications up. One of them was for low fuel, and there was another one that went off rapidly. It might just be for GPS lost connection or some very generic car things. The worst thing about it was, though, all of the beeps sounded exactly the same. There was no differentiation
then.
between them. Exactly.
Actually,
I don't necessarily expect the beeps to be different, but at least beep for low fuel, beep beep for GPS loss, beep 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 for
Yeah.
speeding or something, right? Something you can
actually,
infer.
yeah, it's beep 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 for speeding for mine. It's the exact same as Euro Truck.
Yeah, it is a standard.
But my
Clearly
favorite
not
my favorite thing is my last lesson. The car was due a service for brakes, so I had that warning sign the entire lesson for 2 hours, and I was like, "Is that something to worry about?" He's like, "Don't worry."
I worry about the quality of your driving instructor after hearing this, frankly.
Oh, no, he's genuinely a
but
lovely
makes
guy,
sense.
wonderful person. And he's supported me. He's given me cheaper lessons just to help me get through the
I mean,
pandemic.
that's all lovely and stuff.
But
it
it's
shouldn't be teaching you to drive in a car that needs a service.
oh yeah, but it's not his car.
The quote needs a service, and there are some cars that the lights come on every X amount of miles.
Oh, as a learner one, I think he has to do it every 6
I
months.
don't want to talk about how many services my car's had.
or something like that. Like, if I'm not wrong, when you got a learner car, it has to go through a lot more services than a generic
absolutely.
car.
It's the standards.
Imagine so, yeah.
If you have a brake light on, that's just something that I would just cancel an appointment. And
I
go and
imagine
get
it would be a
checked
brake
first.
service light rather than a brake light. If it was the actual brake light, then I'd be very, very.
I mean,
Okay, no, it was a
I
brake
specified
service.
from Charles.
Yeah, it was a brake
Yeah.
service light.
Okay.
Jesus, you got an awful cough. Yeah.
Yeah.
You okay, mate? You got any experience with driving, Gowan?
He may still be BRB'd. I think he is.
I swear you came in here and laughed at the fact that Phelan something had something
Yeah,
to
he's
do.
just
Definitely around.
deafened. He's
Oh,
just
man,
deafened.
deafened as well. He hates us.
So Phelan, you found a new wing mirror for your car yet?
Oh god, yeah. It's been on for a while.
Oh
That was a while
god.
ago, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if you
I had to
actually.
get it on for the MOT.
Oh, now that would you still
Can you
pass with
imagine
one
the
mirror?
audacity of taking your car to an MOT when it doesn't have a fucking wing mirror.
Honestly,
Ugh.
Jesus Christ, that's when you know you've got balls.
Well,
You're
there
just
was text still all over it from where they'd written the part number on it. I couldn't get off.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
God.
All right, sure, it's going into the MOT like this.
So what did
I think I
the so?
scraped most of
I'm assuming you passed it.
it. No, yeah.
Okay. Was it close? Do you know, or did you have any
No, a
carry-ons?
few minors. I can't remember because they've changed.
Why did
it.
they
So
put
there's
kids in
minors
it?
that are boo. There are get it sorted minors. Like, get it sorted as soon as possible.
Oh,
Shut up.
I thought they just wrote on the paper, get this sorted, and it's just nothing.
Which is get done as soon as possible, and then there's this technically could be better, but yeah.
Oh, fair.
Let me check what I had, because luckily that's all available online.
Get it sorted is
Awesome.
just for all 4 tires.
Repair if necessary. That's it. So you have repair as soon as possible and monitor and repair if necessary. That's
Okay.
all I got.
Not
and
bad.
one of them was like that my front registration plate has that crack in it.
Oh,
If you
okay.
need to, if you get that change, you need to go to this specific shop. You need to take your logbook. That I'm not going to bother about. There are other things in there that I possibly worry about. But there's nothing super. There's nothing worrying. Otherwise, I wouldn't be driving it.
So this is something I think a lot of people, again, going back into this whole thing of people not caring, that when you do anything to your car, is minor as putting a sat nav in it, you have to tell your insurance because that is a modification.
Depends
Not
on your
exactly
insurance policy.
sure
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the case, and I will be back in just a second to
Okay.
discuss why.
But like, even if you were to change your tires, I've been told that you should tell your insurance company because if they don't
Yes,
have that
there's-
written down,
There's certain things you should always notify your insurance of. I believe, obviously, like a vehicle like paint and color, you should notify the DVLA of when you change it, which is the licensing authority in the UK
Yeah.
for those that aren't based in the UK. But in general, yeah, I think some it depends on your insurance company and its specific policy. Some are fine if you add like a sat nav or stuff. Some are a lot more finicky about it. I think it is pretty much just dependent on who you're with.
yeah. But you just have to be careful, especially
Yeah, you should always
teenagers.
check.
Yeah, because if you don't, and it's one of those ones that they're finicking, if you don't tell them, you get in a crash, they'll be like, yeah, well, you didn't tell us this. This was the distraction. Obviously, we're not going to, your insurance is invalid, sort of thing. And like, some people, I just know people who have modified their cars to fucking the end of the world. Put new tires, lowered it, done this and that. One of my good friends, he's a very car-y guy. One of his current cars, he was making a front wing for it. He was putting putty on the bumper, and he was molding it to make it look like a front wing. And I'm like, yeah, like his car can't go over speed bumps. It's that low. It's heroic. It's a beautiful car. Sounds a bit funny, but I beg to differ what he's actually told the insurance company, if anything. So it's like one of those ones where you just have to be careful. But yeah, I think people because people do change their tires all the time. Because obviously you have an accident or you pop a tire or the tread's just low because it's a used car. Do people always go and tell their insurance? Because it's always a good idea to make sure.
As disruptively as possible.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think if you're unsure about some modification made to your car, you may as well phone your insurance and tell them anyway, because the worst case scenario is they're just going to go, we don't care.
Yeah.
Or they're going to go, thanks,
Yeah.
and update it on the database, so, yeah.
In every insurance thing I've gone through says I don't have any modifications. So I have cameras, dash cam, and I have parking sensors. I don't need to, because neither of them could negatively impact the car's performance in theory. Pardon me, I'm very out of breath. The reason that I've declared them is because both of them could, in theory, get me lower costs. Though that's not really been the case for me, unfortunately. But
Don't
I
they
was
also be
under
counted
absolutely
as-
no obligation to announce either of those.
Wouldn't the parking indicators count as a distraction?
You'd have thought so, but that's not how they think.
I mean,
And again,
yes.
don't do what I did. I'd get parking sensors fitted later into your car's life. I wish I did it later, because now I'm a bit too used to using them to back up.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
It's my self-criticism for
I'll
the day.
definitely say from our experience, not mine personally, but from my mum, who our past 2 cars have had parking sensors, whereas obviously all the cars we owned before that
yeah.
didn't, because one, they just weren't as big a thing back then, etc., etc. Definitely finds them like a really nice, satisfying luxury to have, right? Having spent years backing up purely off visuals and such forth, like they're a nice addition. But obviously they're not how she backs up. They're just nice extra feedback because she's been driving for a long time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely can probably a second if you are just learning to drive or
They
you've just
make
got
it
your license,
fucking
probably
10
give it a
quid
bit.
for a set that you can do yourself. Well, you can take into Alfred. It's 10 quid though for a set you can do yourself. It's so easy nowadays. to add
Yeah.
these things.
We are getting to a point where, like, so yeah, obviously, I think we spoke about this last week. They want to ban the sale of petrol and diesel cars in the next 10 years. So, we are getting to a point where cars like second-hand cars are going to become more of one of those fad things where you get collectors buying them. More
All I have
than
to do is keep my car hidden in the garden for
Yeah.
a few years.
But so I don't think electric cars are going to become the next big thing very soon. But it's just going to be a thing where you're gonna see more cars with high tech stuff like parking sensors and sat nav built into
Parking
them.
sensors and things like that are already pretty much standard. Like even on cheapo cars, they're pretty much standard. I think electric has progressed so much quicker than I would like. If I was looking at it 10 or even 5 years ago, I wouldn't have seen as many electric cars as we have today.
Oh, certainly not.
Absolutely
With
not.
like the Teslas or the even the normal brands that have followed suit, Nissan, Jaguar,
Normal brands.
I mean, I still
Chevrolet,
stand
everything.
that
The Jaguar
But
have a
like,
fucking electric car.
Yeah, they have an electric
Yeah.
SUV, I believe.
I'm pretty sure you couldn't name a major car company that doesn't have an electric car. Yeah, good luck.
Here we go. I'm ready at Google.
TVR.
Wasn't that the car that was like the really shitty bright yellow electric car? Or is that something else? It was like really old.
I'm just waiting to
Sorry,
be.
it
I'm
was
just
before
waiting to
Tesla.
just name a car. I'm just ready to be right on my first go.
I mean, well, I said major car company. I wouldn't immediately define them as a major car company. They're a specialist car company.
They
Yeah.
used to be bigger.
There are
Well,
also
is that relevant though?
high-end sports cars as well, which is
But even then, I still wouldn't be surprised if they had an electric car. It just seems that they
I'm-
don't, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm looking into it now. Yeah.
Because I would say Porsche are more of a high-end luxury car than anything as well.
They definitely have.
Well,
Porsche definitely have electric car. I'm just saying Porsche is a high-end sports
right,
car.
yeah,
So
sorry.
TVR.
I would agree with you. Porsche is a high-end car. If you asked me name the major car companies, I wouldn't have included Porsche in them. How often do you see one driving around? You
Me
don't.
quite often. It's
No.
like there's a few around where I am.
Well, okay, yeah, but compare that to like
Okay, but-
Nissan, Citroen, Peugeot, Ford, the other
Okay,
ones, Kia.
there's only a few.
Nissan's clearly the best, by the way. Just saying.
Debatable. We're not
This
getting
sounds
fuck
right.
off with the Leaf. That can just sod off.
Leaf's a good car.
No. It's
Then problem with
horrific.
it.
It's small. I can barely fit in it. It has a small
Okay,
battery.
there are other small cars.
It's a small battery. Oh, what about Datsun? Do they have any electric cars? I'm pretty sure they should.
Probably, actually, yeah.
It's
I
probably
wouldn't
like a
be.
big
I wouldn't be
Hoover.
surprised.
I wish I didn't look that up now. What about
I'm
Lada?
waiting for the new Tesla was it small hatchback they said was going to be designed in Europe.
Yes,
I'm
supposedly.
really excited to see the pricing of what that'll be when they.
I'm really excited to what
It's a
difference
long
is
way
going to
off.
be being designed in Europe.
Well, generally the American road thing
yeah.
is very pickup truck and SUV, especially at over the past few
I
years.
definitely don't think that an American design team is incapable of designing a car more situated to Europe and vice versa. But it definitely helps. I feel like a lot of the already existing testing centres and such forth just exist here.
Also,
Dealing with small awkward roads that you get all across Europe and that sort of thing. Like you just can't drive like a Tesla Model X across some roads in Europe.
so this is something I didn't know. I didn't know Bentley was owned by Volkswagen. It seems like
Yeah.
every British
Volkswagen
fucking
own a lot.
yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what car companies specifically, but I know specifically Volkswagen own a lot of car companies.
Volkswagen at the moment. I don't know if this is all of them, but they own Seat, Skoda, Bugatti, Bentley, Audi, obviously Volkswagen, Porsche, and Lamborghini.
Yeah.
BMW, another German company, have Rolls-Royce and the Mini. So, fuck British car companies.
True.
The funny part about that is that they own the Porsche car company, although the company Volkswagen AG is also 31% owned by Porsche with 53% of the votes. They have control of the company.
Chrysler's owned by Fiat's, like
Fiat Chrysler automobiles, yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize. Oh, yeah, I didn't realize that.
Alfa Romeos, Chryslers, Dodge, Fiat, Jeep, Maserati, Ram, and
Yeah,
then
Lancia.
potentially merging with like French and English brands by the looks of things.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, like Peugeot, Citroën.
And they also own most of the major truck brands as well.
Mm.
MAN, Scania, Volkswagen's truck brand, Traton.
I didn't realize Jaguar
by
and Land
Volkswagen.
Rover are owned by Tata or Tata.
Tata,
Ta-ta.
I want to find
Posh.
this. Are they British? Yeah, I hope so.
British.
British.
No, it's an Indian.
Do you have a license to
Multinational,
drive that?
You got a license to say that?
Oh yeah, 'cause you've the Tata Nano, which is or was the world's cheapest production car.
Really? I want to find this.
Yeah. It's
Oh
not great.
no! Yes, no.
It was a few £1,000. I think 3 or 4, maybe a bit more than that.
I think I could fit my
It
legs
wasn't awful.
if I sat in
It
the
was
back.
called the Nano. Yeah, look at it.
Oh my god!
Safety wasn't a number one priority there. I can tell you that. I've seen a lot of tests. that thing.
Jeez. PSA. I'm
To
guessing
be
that's.
fair, if I was to have
That's
any
a
car
PlayStation.
dash that looks closer to a PlayStation 1 than it does a car dash, that is the car dash.
You can't
The
see.
thing, it's so simple. Okay, ignoring the fact there's not a radio. It's just so simple. I'm honestly sick of these overcomplicated modern cars where you have 30
I know,
buttons
I
on the
agree.
wheel, a billion in the middle.
Okay,
Like,
so
this one heats your left middle toe. This one is a flashlight when you're driving. Hi, parents, if you're watching. You know,
I forgot you.
it's
Did you
a
forget?
car. Don't get me wrong. No, don't get me wrong. I want some level of luxuries. There are some things that I want, but God, don't overcomplicate it. I
Okay,
don't think anyone wants a complicated car.
I do. I love a good car.
Charlie wants a goddamn puzzle. That's why you're going to crash, Charles. You're going to be figuring out how to turn the aircon up,
So
and you're going to crash.
I didn't realize.
burn.
I didn't realize Volvo and Lotus, as well as another ones like Proton, Link Co, and the London Taxi Company, were all owned by a company called Geely.
Yeah. Well, if you start looking into this, what you'll discover is that the majority of big companies are all owned by one person.
Yeah, but I've never heard of Geely.
You won't have heard a lot of them. Like, look
Uh,
at cosmetics. If you walk into an aisle of a supermarket, a cosmetics aisle, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you, probably over 50% of the shampoos and conditioners and whatever other cosmetic-y, chemical-y, makeup-y stuff is all owned by one
A
company.
lot of fish and chip shops. Not as much down here, but still, the vast majority, I think, of fish and chip shops are owned by one
are they?
major thing. Quite a few of them. Yeah, let me see
Yeah.
if I
Are you
can
talking
find
about?
out. I thought it was around 70%, but I could just be pulling that
Are you
number out.
talking about good old big boy Rick?
What?
No, never mind.
Okay.
I don't know, because literally, like, the thing is, fish and chip shops aren't that common. So that's wrong. They are common, but there's not that many of them around where I am, which surprised me. There's only 2. But like that quality varies really, like, dramatically, surprisingly. When was it we were talking? Agent Onik was having fish and chips, and he said they were awful. Admittedly, they were cold, but
I wouldn't say they were awful, they just weren't great.
yeah. What was the best fish and chips you've had? You don't have to name them specifically, but
probably
like,
a good
I
idea
don't
not to
remember.
name specific places. Yeah.
I don't remember either. It's not something I tracked
No?
down. I've never in my life eaten fish and chips that I went, these are so good, I'm going to note this down for 4 years in the future.
Yeah, it's
Most
more
fish
for
and
me.
chips are
This
just
place,
fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's always this place is bad. I'm not going back to it.
Not
Rather
to
than
diss the UK, but I don't think I
place.
can name a quote-unquote British dish that I've ever had that has particularly wowed me. They've all been
Sausage
good
and mash.
to fine.
scone.
No, it's fine.
How
It's not
dare
bad.
you?
I'm not against sausage and mash. It's just I've eaten some really, really, really good cuisine from other countries.
I hate
I've not had a single one of those in the UK.
Damn.
mashed potato is
You've not had the right
disgusting.
sausage and mash.
Mashed potato is scum of the earth.
Yeah, but we can't judge any food things off of you.
Yeah, we can. Right, the best meal is a good steak made with perfect steak fries.
God.
Or steak
What do you
cut
think of
chips,
this,
sorry.
man? interior-wise. This isn't technically our car interior, but it's like the revision before. I just couldn't be able
Okay.
to find an image
Oh,
specifically.
that's pretty
The
cool.
dash is the same as steering wheel,
Yeah,
isn't?
it's a little bit.
There's nothing on
too-
the wheel, which is nice.
'Cause
It's
I
not
find it
distracting.
annoying.
I don't like that middle wheel. That just. Why is it a wheel?
Yeah.
It's so if Alfie wants to control, he can.
Other than that, it doesn't look awful. I've definitely seen worse.
Am I right in saying, failing like this could have changed, but last time I spoke to you, am I right in saying that your family car doesn't have any airbags?
What?
Okay, never mind.
Why? Hang on. Why are you suddenly telling me that my family car might not have airbags? Is
'Cause
this
I
a threat?
I swear you said that your family car, because obviously if you buy a second-hand car, it's not a legal requirement to have airbags in it.
What?
If they've gone off once.
Have you cut my brake lines as well? What the fuck? I have never spoken about airbags with you that I can remember.
Is it?
And also,
Wait, do you
my
still have your
family's
family
is
car?
a fairly new one.
No, I'm talking about that. I don't know if you've got a new one recently. Then
What?
the teal one, the Citroen. Got the one you still got?
Oh man, that was years ago. Oh, that thing had airbags.
Oh,
Probably.
okay.
We never had to find out.
Oh, I just remember
here
that
we
coming
go.
up. Just I saw that
That
fucking.
car was falling apart though. That thing.
That's
lasted
if I'm not wrong, I think
some
we had a
years.
Citroen like that, and it was named the most safest car in the world, or something like that.
Oh yeah, the Picasso. It's not a brilliant looking car by
No.
modern standards, but God, is it reliable and will it get the job done? Absolutely would recommend them. Fucking workhorse, that car.
Yeah, I like that car.
I'm a
Mm.
car.
Do you identify
Good.
as one?
In Argentina.
Yeah, I have to say, our current car is the best car I've ever owned. It's very nice. I won't go into
Oh, no,
specific
Suzuki
circumstances.
Wagon R is the best car that anyone's ever owned.
Fuck off.
I won't go into specific circumstances about the complicated kind of path about how we acquired it, but it's very, very recent. I believe it's a 2018 model. It might even
That's
be
a flex.
yeah, I think it was 2018, 2017. I know we're very lucky to have it. It's a really nice car. It's just really nice.
No, it's a really
We're
nice
lucky to
car.
have
Last time we
'cause
went in it.
last time we were driving a car, we were driving a car from like the late 90s. It was a bit outdated.
All I know is
Um,
that we have a BMW. It's very fancy.
Oh my
All
god.
I know
Damn.
specifically,
Has your
though,
dad got a
is
new
that-
car?
Why am
my
I driving you
car-
around in a Wagon R? Bitch.
Yeah, well, my car's the Nissan Note. Well, not my car, but our car, the family car, right?
Yeah.
It's just important to note that in 2013, it won the RGC Car of the Award, beating out the Suzuki Wagon R, which is a really important note, specifically.
No, it didn't.
Yeah,
That
yes,
was
it did.
rigged. That was rigged, and you know it.
So-
yes, it did.
So
It also beat the
rigged.
Mazda CX-5 5 years later as the top-selling compact car in Japan in 2018. And won the
Gosh,
Japan
29
Environmental
World
Award.
Car of the
I mean, to
Year
be fair, the
awards. The
Environmental
Wagon R
Award
has
wins,
been the
it
winner
sounds
of the
like-
Best Value Hatchback Award due to the great combination of power, practicality, and
no, it
mileage
isn't.
that it provides at a highly attractive price point.
So
Thank you, Cars24.com.
all I want to say is the last time I saw Jaren's car,
He also won multiple awards in Japan.
I don't remember what car Jaren's dad had, but he drove into our school car park. Just as he turned in, he vaped all over the window, and that's all I
They
remember.
all over the window.
The van, yeah.
Was it
Bro, I've got
Van?
108 horsepower. Leave me alone.
Okay, so this is a genuine conversation starter. I remember talking to someone about this not too long ago. Do you think cars should have built-in restrictors for speed?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm,
Do you think there's any point for making cars go over the speed limit?
No.
Like having cars go fucking 200 miles an hour for some reason?
No, not an everyday car. It should be disableable. Should be illegal to drive on a normal pedestrian public road with it disabled. I feel like there's very little argument that you should be able to speed, or there should be a need for you to speed in most private land. So I feel like you should be able to disable it as long as it's illegal to drive on the main road with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
The like because like cars travel around and such, like you could buy like a car from a different country. The travel restrictions from there, and unless it's like some up constantly updated online thing, then the travel restrictions won't really like apply for different countries than what it does.
Oh. Well, this is
What's the
interesting.
likelihood of you buying a car from Germany that has an autobahn unlimited speed limit restrictor on it, and then
What?
bring it to you?
What?
Hang on.
Cars are constantly like traded around every country. Like foreign cars for most people are like a luxury that like they try and look for.
Sorry, I just wanted to go a little bit
Yeah,
back.
right.
So, Alfie, this RJC Car of the Year, well, pretty big deal, you'd agree, right?
Never heard
in
of
my
it.
life,
Yeah.
but sure.
Okay, well, it's what the Nissan Note 1 Car of the Year. It won from the Automotive Researchers and Journalists Conference of Japan, also known as RJC.
What does RJC say? Oh.
Really?
Right.
Anyway, yeah, it's, Nissan Note. It's okay. It's won once.
It's beautiful.
Suzuki Wagon-R has won 3 times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, clearly better. In fact, in
Yeah,
the
I'll
year that
beat yours.
the Nissan Note 1 Car of the Year, Technology of the Year went to a Suzuki Wagon-R.
Why is this car so shit?
So, I will defend my car to the death, even if What Car gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. I think so. I think it was What Car.
That's got 4.
Oh my god.
What's its safety rating?
Oh, let's not find out.
Yeah, all I want to say is that I like this podcast just had a weird niche of topics that somehow developed into 2 people arguing about which K car's better. I mean, they're both neither technically arguably K cars, but they also kind of
No.
are.
What's a K
They're
car?
quite small by
It
UK
is-
standards.
Is that a kit
Yeah.
car?
Yes,
No,
that's exactly
yes.
what that means.
Yeah.
They got tax reductions if they built their own cars in Japan. It was a weird time.
So yeah, K car is basically a Japanese phenomenon, Charles, where you have a small, light car for traveling inside cities, because you know how Japanese cities have like the really small road.
Oh,
in
yeah, like
Japan in
London.
general, there's really small roads, normally smaller than London. So K cars is just the term used for small, light cars in Japan.
Why don't you just get a
Which is
bike?
pretty much every car that sells in Japan. The Suzuki Wagon-R being one of them, officially.
Oh, that's why
I've
it's
checked.
so mass produced.
I think the Wagner, I don't know if it's in Japan. It might be in India as the most produced car, or was the most produced car.
Isn't like 90% of India motorbikes?
What, like the 90% of the vehicles owned in India, or just 90% of India?
I'll let you take a guess on that one.
Second one.
It's such a great Wikipedia quote. Oh my god!
Oh, no.
So I just opened up the Suzuki Wagon-R because while we were
Oh,
discussing
no.
this, I was going to scroll down and see if I could find that stat thing about the produceness of it. Right?
Oh yeah.
And it just says the Suzuki Wagon-R is a K car manufactured by and marketed by Suzuki. It's like, well, that's not that surprising, but thanks. The R in the name stands for revolution and relaxation, which is fine. Like if that sentence ended there, it'd
It's
be fine.
what
It's
it
the
doesn't
open
stand
brackets,
for.
not racing.
Yeah.
Like,
I can
thanks.
confirm I wouldn't go racing in my car. Though they do. It is in a specific class. Again, it's a Japanese thing, I think.
That's so funny.
Hey, just so you know,
In
don't go
2008.
mistaking it for racing. It's
Oh, sorry, no.
nice.
Wait, what? In 2008, Suzuki Wagon-R was the first half best-selling car for 5 years straight.
Boom, 5
Yeah.
years.
It was the best-selling. It has been, in fact, the best-selling car in
Oh.
Japan since 2003. It still
Gee,
is
wow.
to this day.
Such a shit car.
Okay, I
though.
didn't know it was that. Now it's modernized. It's got like a hybrid and electric variants, and it's
Yeah,
cool.
that's quite common in Japan. Like,
It
it's,
I
it's
would
the
love
same
to
with the
import
Note,
one of them. I really
right?
would, if I
Like
money.
they have
obviously.
you have all of these features that just like you just keep the exact same shell, maybe slightly update the dash a bit for some new
Look
technology.
for the Wagon-R's.
Replace it with a hybrid or electric engine, right?
Look at the Wagon-R hybrid if you're on the Wikipedia article.
I
remember having
absolutely
some really
hate the
weird
way this
stats.
Wagon-R looks.
Oh, it's one of the new ones.
Also, there's an article.
it's
Obviously,
in
it's
my
all in
opinion.
Japanese, so I can't read the actual article. But there's an article
Can
saying
you translate?
the new Wagon-R can creep only by using motor.
Wow, you can really read Japanese.
Oh, here we go. So, integrated starter generator and increased capacity. So this is the hybrid one. Due to the improved battery and ISG, the Wagon-R is capable of driving alone on its hybrid battery. Get this, for up to 10 seconds if the speed is kept under 8 miles an hour.
What's the point?
Did
So-
they just take a normal car battery and make it hybrid?
I guess so. Like,
That's amazingly shit.
obviously, in Japanese cities where that's designed for, that's awesome. In our country, that's not really a feature to write home about. That's I could get out and push it as long as and it won't go above 8 miles an hour, obviously.
Oh my god. Okay, so there's an AA. There's an.
An AA.
So you know the AA, they have a thread where you can review cars, and so
Oh,
they have
God.
one for the Wagon R, and my favorite
Oh,
one
no.
is from 2016. It's just titled "My Bad Car,"
Oh no.
and all it says is "uncomfortable, slow, poor for performance."
That's actually a thing I want to bring. Okay, of course it's poor for performance. It doesn't stand for racing. We already know this. This is the thing. Okay, I've not been in like £1,000 cars for sure. I've never been in a car though that I'd consider uncomfortable to the point where I couldn't sit in there for a few hours,
I have.
like on a small road trip.
I
If
mean,
I
I've
swear
definitely
to
been in
God,
cars
if you
that-
say what I think you're about to say, I'm ending this podcast early.
I definitely think there are cars that I would find. I do find particularly uncomfortable. There are cars that I more so feel a need to take a break and like stretch my legs a bit if we're going on a long road trip.
Fair enough.
But I've never
yeah.
been in anything that I would say is. No, okay. I've never been in a car that I would say is explicitly uncomfortable for long. I've been on coaches that are, which is honestly kind of stupid because you'd feel like coaches should be the ones specifically designed for long road trips, but you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Can I just say I found my favorite review just because of this first sentence.
Uh-oh again.
This car does not disappoint unless you're Jay Clarkson.
Yeah. Fair enough.
No, like
Sure.
not. It's not your car. There genuinely are a few cars I've been in that are just uncomfortable as
Oh.
fuck. My friend's Mercedes,
Huh?
for example, it
Oh,
was
that
so
was unexpected.
horrifically like. So it was low down.
Look at how beautiful that is, Phelan. Isn't it just wonderful?
I hate the look of that. Fuck
I love
off.
the colour as well.
Is that the car next to my one?
It very well could be, yeah.
I think no, it is because look at my one. There's the teal car in the background, and then your one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I presume there's all just photos taken from one show.
I forgot that they had the Stingray bit.
So, but yeah,
Yeah,
no, like
yeah.
my friend's Mercedes,
sorry.
awful for me to sit in because there was no leg room. Ironically, his Mini had more leg room than his fucking Mercedes.
Minis have a
So-
surprising amount of leg room.
They do. Oh, I'm just looking at more reviews, and my favourite one. I like the height of the car, and it's comfortable to drive. I had to replace it almost every year.
Interesting. So I just wanted, I had a look, that sticker price there, equivalent, make sure I've typed that in right, is about £11,650.
Oh Christ!
That's not bad. Like, yeah, it's still quite a bit of money. Not bad for a brand new car. And if
Yeah,
that's the
pretty
Stingray
reasonable.
version as well, then that's pretty goddamn good.
I mean, that specifically is the Stingray Hybrid
Oh
X,
my god! I found the
Ooh.
best,
the
most
2017 rendition. So yeah, very
Yeah,
very nice.
2017, so a few years, but still, I imagine it was taken at the time.
I found my favourite new
Yeah, I
review
presume so.
just because of how British it is.
Again.
Big and high, good for picking up the old deers. They love it.
This is literally Charles, but as a car.
How dare you?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Fun fact for them though, I've further discovered that the fucking Suzuki Wagon R specific, whichever version doesn't even specify the official model on this, but can do 80 kilometers to 100 kilometers across 30 seconds with motor assistance. And then obviously if you're creeping only with the motor, it is 10 seconds.
That's interesting.
Okay, so this I don't know.
Apparently the idea is as far as this, the wording on this article is translated, so it's a little unclear. But I believe how it works is it can only sustain for 10 seconds, but if you let it recharge, it can. So the idea is that if you're in inner
Yes.
city traffic, right, you can just let your car creep forward as normal, as long as you're not doing that for more than 10-second periods. The second you stop, the engine will just help charge the battery up again. So
Yeah.
it's pretty reasonable, actually.
Phelan,
Like I say, it's definitely more of a Japanese feature. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
how?
definitely.
What? Okay, how do you take this? This is a
Oh, God.
2-star review. Its size makes it almost unnoticeable on the road.
It depends what
man.
road, frankly.
I mean, even then, like going down the 8th, don't get me wrong, it's not the world's largest car, it's not the world's smallest car, but even then, it's a car, it's not more or less noticeable. The only cars that I will notice specifically by size is if they're especially tiny, it's like the PPL 50, or to the other side of the scale, like a limo or a Hummer. And in that case, I might notice it for how large it is. But between that, everything
you
sort
it's
of
just
merges
car, innit?
together.
Also,
Yeah.
there's a review here that's all in caps saying the boot can hold rather a lot of seats, and the seats can nearly fold down flat. Also, because of
Yeah. Also because of
I mean, like, yeah, like
seats folding down flat. Is
you
awesome.
know, I feel like there's a lot. Like our car is smaller than usual, right? Like the Nissan Note's considered by European standards a super mini hatchback. So like fine, whatever. But you just don't notice it really, do you? Like it's just near enough the same size as most other everyday cars, unless exactly you're going at something that's particularly small, particularly large. If you're driving past someone that's decided to take a slightly steroid-induced Land Rover past you, then yeah. But you know, other than that,
Yeah, it's a very weird thing to put in a review. Like, and what are you looking for? Are you? I don't know. Like maybe they're suggesting you get a really armored up Suzuki Wagon-R and you have the perfect president's car there, because people just won't be able to see it, and on the low
That's
chance
true.
that they do, just, let's say it's so reliable. What are they
Also,
going to do to it?
according to the RAC, the
Right.
Volkswagen Up is the best new car.
Well,
I mean, I'm not going to not to diss the RSC, but I'm not entirely sure they have great. They're not people I would go to at first for their opinion, frankly.
Why not?
Because it's the RAC. I'd rather decide myself.
I don't even know what RAC stands for.
oh God, here we go.
What do you mean?
Isn't it Royal Automotive Company? No.
No,
Road Automated, no.
you're very close.
It's something automotive. It stands for...
It's Royal Automotive.
Huh?
It's Royal Automotive. You're just missing the last one.
Car.
Nope.
Club.
There we go.
I had to Google
high
it.
intensity section of the podcast.
Honestly.
Also, yeah, surely like just the concept of like how big a car is on a road, how easy to see, really just depends on the size of the road. Like compare like a tiny like British or like Italian lane, right, to like a rural road in Japan, to like a major highway in China. Like that's such a scale difference.
Now, Phelan's going to hate me on this. And Coffee. But we're coming up to the last 10 minutes.
I feel like we should at least get Joan's opinion on cars, some technology preps that he feels is beneficial for the many cars he likes in particular.
Well, I ain't even taken a test of my theory. I know nothing about cars.
Have you not watched Top Gear?
Yeah, but
I mean, surely you know some basics. Are
not
you
British,
intending to
listen.
own a car?
no. I mean, yeah, we own a car. I don't personally own a car, but we own
Yeah.
cars.
Sorry, it's how very quickly and assuredly you said no.
If you were to own a car,
Oh,
do you think
man.
you'd go for a petrol, an electric, hybrid, diesel?
Hydrogen?
He's already had to BRB.
Wow.
Wow.
He's
You
out
know,
there. He's just not interested.
honestly, to think you put him underneath the stream as well. He gets his own little box and he doesn't
I
even
know.
show up.
He unmuted and then he started typing.
He did this before, except he stopped typing like partway through last time.
No, it's because my mute is set to a bind, so then like it just decides to type.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What'd you say?
If you were to purchase a car, like obviously you're not necessarily interested in it, but if you were, do you think you'd go for an electric or would you stick with petrol or diesel or what?
Probably go for a hybrid.
Okay.
Reasonable.
There's like upsides and downsides to both of them.
Mhm.
And I think like having like you using a hybrid is mainly electric, but because of where we live,
Mm.
there's not so many like charging points around from what I've
Yeah.
seen. Like, but this was like a few years ago when I first checked. So I think having having a hybrid, you could use electric mainly, but then like if you end up like not going to a charging station in time,
Well,
then you have the like the gas or diesel part to fall back on.
this was going to be my question, and so would you go for a self-charging hybrid or a plug-in hybrid?
Self-charging.
Oh
This
man,
is-
see, I much prefer the idea of I can't describe why. I just don't know. I like the idea
You
of
like to cause
plug-in.
hassle for yourself.
I've never heard of a self-charging.
A lot
So
of hybrids
it's
aren't.
just
I
the
thought most
engine,
hybrids
yeah.
were
Yeah.
self-charging.
Charges.
Oh,
They
okay.
were originally.
Yeah, yeah, I understand.
Because the whole idea of a self-charging hybrid is literally just
In
you're going to
fact, I
mostly
was-
use your petrol. Just you've got that electric just in case, or
I
if
was
you want to use it.
for reasons again I can't specify, but I was sat in as a younger kid a hybrid car in I believe 2010, like early 2010, and
He's
it
only
was a piece
15.
of shit by today's standards. Like, obviously, it was horrific.
Mm.
And some people would argue that hybrids today are horrific, but you know, like it's funny thinking back to that moment, like how much cars have come and how that was just there like that, you know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
they're
I
definitely.
don't think it could manage more than like 20 minutes on the battery.
I'd say it wasn't exactly like a long time ago either, especially in car development time. And in a way, it almost a completely different technology as well.
It was looked frowned.
I definitely think with cars, the major thing that needs to happen across the whole planet, but obviously relative to me, I can only speak on a UK scale, is that the government just needs to properly deploy charging. We need a charging system, proper charging infrastructure across the whole UK, and we need to, for very
I
good
think-
reason, ban the use of petrol and diesel vehicles
I
in any
personally
situation where there's no alternative.
Oh, we're doing
Apart
that.
from any situation where there's no alternative, even.
But I
We're not
personally
doing
think
it.
we go
We're
the
delaying
nuclear.
that year every few years, and it's terrible. It needs to. It should have happened like this year in your grand scheme of things, but obviously it was delayed. So ideally, it should be 2025. I'd say at the latest, really. 2030, 2035. It's just too late.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because the connotations, you got to remember that anyone that buys a car, right? You got to remember like the fade out period of people selling secondhand and all that shit. So anyone that buys a car to 2035, it's probably going to be petrol. Just think how long it's going to take for them to stop being regularly, like for them to below 50% of the market share of cars in this country.
Well,
It won't be
not
until like
being-
2070, 2080.
Not being a car manufacturer, I reckon even if we say we're going to ban them the sale of new outright by 2030, I reckon companies will stop as far ahead of that date as they can, rather than go up to the limit.
Is I mean that's always what happens. Like they will really push like how far they can like manufacture their shit, and then most of them will even just stop on the day.
I don't know. I think
I don't know. I think a lot of
it
them are going to do
absolutely
good.
could be the case, but
I don't know. I
there's-
don't
there's
see
only
why they
time to
would.
tell.
I think they would
I
do
don't
what
see why
Finn said.
reason why they wouldn't push both sides. Why not put a load of R&D into researching some great new electric vehicles for the market that's going to be going to fully electric,
Wow.
but also release some new petrol vehicles and target them with advertising like "fuck this electric shit, petrol's the way to go" for the people that are still petrol heads.
Oh, and no, the thing is,
That's
it's
obviously the best marketing decision, surely.
the banning
do
is
both.
of brand new petrol cars. The second-hand market is going to be thriving still.
Exactly. Yeah.
People are going to
It's
want to
still
buy
absolutely
cars no matter
crazy.
what, and nobody's going to want to spend 20 odd grand on an electric car if they can get
Well,
a
this is
2
why the
grand.
government should put charging infrastructure to subsidise the purchase of electric cars.
Yeah, I know it would be a great idea. Yeah, no, honestly, it would be. But you know what? We're going to end it on a high note. So
Halo
Petrol
and Fortnite.
fumes.
yeah, are we all gonna? What are we all wanting for Christmas?
Halo and Fortnite.
That's what you want, okay? Delicious.
Money. Send to the address on your screen now. Excellent. Who's next?
Agent Wink?
Alfie.
Nothing, frankly.
Nothing from
Alright.
us.
Not really
Let's
that
be
interested.
Ending on a high note. Come on, man. Say something.
I don't know.
Do you want a BD?
Career.
You want a
There we go. A career. And that is the goal.
Do you want a BD?
Ooh.
Friends' parents could be listening.
I was
Well,
going to say, yeah.
I doubt they know what that is.
Oh,
Well,
you'd
let's
be
not
surprised.
try.
They invented it. Anyway, I'm in a lot of trouble. Anyway, I think that is a good time to wrap it up. Thank you all very much for watching. It's been a good. What are we looking at? 2 hours? Yeah, pretty much 2 hours.
Almost.
Right, no, thank you very much, you guys. You actually are legends. It has been a weird one, definitely, but I like these chill ones where we just go and talk about whatever the fuck we want. Yeah, it's going to be up on YouTube and Spotify as well as the whole host of the other websites.
Oh, yeah,
Had you saw the beginning?
something I want to say in the beginning.
Oh no.
When you brought the list up,
Yeah.
for
Oh
what
man, yeah.
you've done, you only showed it visually, so anyone who's just listening to it, they don't know what you put up.
Well, I don't care.
Okay.
Because if you're listening to it on Spotify,
Here's my next question. Yeah, if someone's listening visually, they only
Listening
sorry,
visually?
the only place we're gonna skip over that. The only place where it's a problem that they're missing the visual is if they're on Twitch listening auditorily, which is a bit weird because if they're already on one of those services, they probably know it's available there.
yeah, if they're listening to it on Spotify, I don't think they're going to go, you know what, I need to go and watch it on Rocket Cast.
I mean, what if they're on? Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Right,
It's
don't
only
worry.
if they're
I'm
listening
not
auditorily
convinced
on
by this
Twitch.
logic, but we'll go over it.
No,
some other
because
time.
because the only
Oh
place,
my God.
if you're listening to it on Spotify, then you're
Thank
not
you for
going to.
watching
Yes,
this
okay,
So,
fuck
so,
it.
so basically, he listed a series of places you can listen to the podcast in audio only form. Okay,
Yes.
Right.
right.
Visual only form.
So the only place someone's listening to them audio only form, right, which means they didn't get that list because it was only displayed visually,
Yeah.
is already one of those places. Unless they are listening to only the audio on Twitch, which is very weird.
But then, like, by the same standard, I won't follow someone on Twitter or their YouTube channel, but I'll find it often visually through one of those other medias, and that's more preferential for me. If I was a Twitch person,
Right,
I'd
you know
go,
what?
"Oh,
Just
cool,
no.
I can watch it on
No.
Google."
We're gonna sort this issue out, and nobody can hear you for a moment. So if you want to listen to this podcast on any other platform, you can listen to it on Breaker, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, or Radio Public. That's gonna sort our issue out. Whoops.
Do you
Just
know
follow
if those
Spotify and
distributors
YouTube.
will distribute to other podcast services?
Yes, maybe. But no, thank you very much, you wonderful people. Keep up the high
The
demand.
stream crashed, or where?
Yep,
There
no,
we
the
go.
high demand. I don't know what to say. But no, thank you very much.
Sorry for the slight craziness of this podcast.
Yeah.
Frankly, is what I want to
Honestly,
say.
this has been one of our better, more
I
consistent.
will
throughout.
It's been somewhat consistent. The previous podcast was really good.
I will try and stream more. I'm not gonna lie. I want to get some Battlefield stuff out and
What a
squad
negative
and that.
chat we have.
So yeah, thank you very much, you wonderful people. And yeah, as always, have a good evening, good day, good night, or good morning. We'll see you in the next game.
Tap to finish.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.
Ta.
Yeah.